Hello, and good morning to everybody out there. It's 5 a.m. here in South Africa. The lunch session on day 2 is about to start in this first test match in the series at the Gabba between South Africa and Australia. South Africa needed to come in this morning and try and restrict all the damage that Australia were seemingly about to inflict on them, and they managed to bowl Australia out with a lead of about 62. The first 30 minutes wasn't worth watching, but when Marco Jansen got the ball, he always gets a wicket with his first over, and he did that, and then so we just continued, and just to run through the scorecard before the teams come on just after lunch. Um, Australia came in overnight on 100 and it was 150 two. They were trailing South Africa by 7, and Travis Head continued. Cameron Green with a couple of lusty blows. Cameron Green was the first one to go out for 18 off the bowling of Janssen. Then you had Travis Head following not so a couple of balls after that for 92. He played really well for the Australians. And then there was just a succession of wickets after that. Mitchell Starc went out, caught and bowled by Ngidi. Pat Cummins was caught by Nokia, bowled Rabada. And Nathan Lyon was caught by Rabada for 2 ducks. So Cummins and Lyons got a duck, Starc got 14, and Alex Carey was left stranded there on 22. Australia's final total was 218, which meant that South Africa had a lead or a deficit of 62, and not 62, 66. And then South Africa, in horrible fashion, found themselves 3 for 2. And that is because LBW to Dean Algar. He got a really nice ball from Pat Cummins, but it was slightly high. And this thing of these umpires, one umpire being Australian, now being a New Zealander, not so sure, but yeah, so we kept the review, but Dean had to walk, and then Rassie got a Mitchell Starc trademark in swinger. He didn't know where his feet were, and there was a gap, and Mitchell found that gap, and his off stump was disturbed. Timber is on 0 after 7 balls, and Sardal Avia 1 on 15. We've got Otto Simon with me, just to keep me company until our other commentators start joining. It is 5 a.m. in South Africa. People are just rolling out of bed, and you can see Otto's in the darkness waiting for the sun to rise, which will be in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, and good morning, Paul. Good morning, everybody out there listening. Yes, we are live here with you and waiting for the power to come back on, waiting for the sun to come up. And after 6 o'clock, I'll be 100% fine. It was nice to see that we got Australia out this morning when I woke up, but Arvia and Bavuma still there. Algar in front of this, and a bit disappointed that they not there anymore, but let's see what we can do.
Yeah, there are a couple of things coming here. I think there's the Rassie van der Dussen question, and everyone's going to say, no, he's batting at 3 and everything else. I think he still needs to be comfortable to bat at 3, but he's not looking any good at this level. He averages 79 in ODIs, but Test match cricket, he's a shell of that man. And then obviously that partnership at the top, Dean's just getting he's getting the opposition's best balls as the captain, which is fair, and that's what Australia always do. It's just really tough. So Timber Bavuma's out in the middle, but he's not going to be facing. It'll be Sardal Advia. Pat Cummins will be taking this first over after the lunch. The game has moved on so quickly that it actually could end today. So, yeah, it's a good thing for us.
That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, it's not good for the fans. 3 slips and a gully. Pat Cummins into Sardal Advia. This one just above that off stump line. He lets that go through on height. He's on 1 of 16. Bavuma yet to score. South Africa 3 for 2. It's one of those situations where if you're a South African, you look at the score, you think we lost 3 wickets because it's 2 for 3. And in Australia, that's the other way around. It's 2 wickets for 3 runs, whereas we say 3 runs for 2 wickets. So
Two.
please do not be worried. Look at our scoreboard. That is the correct score, 3 for 2. Oh, another ball. Beautiful, beautiful ball. Just holding its line outside that off stump of Sadal Avia. And he is defending that off stump line, not moving away, not trying to chase anything outside that line. And Mitchell Stark, not Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, getting the ball across him really, really nicely and through to Alex Carey for no run.
I saw some comments about the surface being the problem here for the batters. The movement off the wicket seems to be what's undoing the.
And it's doing just enough, and it's that grass covering. It's always, it's got some spice. Next one, just outside the off stump, Alvia playing down that off stump line, but Pat Cummins not being able to get the edge. He is very accurate in this over. But that's essentially, obviously, when you give us a pitch with a healthy grass covering, you are always telling us it's going to be a low scoring game and the batters are going to struggle. And I think when Carl Verena got off, I think Mark Nicholas said that he could possibly be the highest scorer in the game, and only one other person beat him there, and that was Travis Head. Short ball from Cummins, and he ducked underneath it, and he couldn't get it. But I think from a South African perspective, they weren't hitting their straps enough. They weren't bowling full enough. And it just was a problem this morning because they were getting driven down the ground. It was just a problem. Cameron Green was doing a bit of damage. So too was Travis Head. So I don't know how South Africa. I'll explain this after this. Oh, this one is an LBW shout. It has wrapped Sadal Ivy on the pads. He was trying to play the ball down leg side. So it was a lot straighter. And captain and wicketkeeper having a little bit of a discussion. They've decided against the review to 1. DRS time is now at 0, everybody. No review was taken. So also, as I was saying, it obviously having South Africa just struggling, and you think like a normal person would be like, but we've had these problems since the India series. We won the India series with somebody not scoring 100 for our team. Our bowlers didn't hit the straps early on, and it takes them time. You think that over the year that's what they'd be working on, and we got a first day of cricket like that yesterday. Last ball of the over, another peach outside the off stump. I love the fact that Avi is defending that off stump and nothing wider than that, and that ball just going through to Alex Carey for no run. South Africa have not added any runs since lunch after 6 balls. It is 3 for 2. Really impressive over from Pat Cummins. He had the ball. He had Sadal Ivy with balls going across him. Then he brought one in. That was the LBW shot that pitched outside leg. Really good set. And similar to the 5 overs before lunch, Australia were just imperious. Like Mitchell Stark. He had Rassie van der Dussen in his pocket. He bowled one that went away from him, and then he gave him the trademark that was for 300. And here's Mitchell Stark again to Temba Bavuma. This one, Temba leaves outside that off stump. It was a bit of an in-swinger. It was a little bit high, and he just showed his arms to that one.
Yeah, we saw that the batters that do manage to stick it out, you can figure out your way to some runs on this wicket if you just apply some patience and just don't throw it away. That's the old story.
I think the situation is there's so much time in the game. Forget about strike rates. Just keep yourself in there. Wear them down. Let Scott Boland bowl to you.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
very wide from Mitchell Stark. Timber's not going to flash at that one. And this goes to Alex Carey for no run.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's leave the balls that don't need to be hit or don't need to be defended off your stumps.
Yeah, and
Let's see
Australia
if they
just
can
bowling
actually do
really
that.
well right now in the second innings.
Hmm.
This lead of 66 is on any other pitch in any other stadium is worth over 100, and
Yes.
and and I think that's the tough part for South Africa is that first innings. Woo! Third ball of the over. Mitchell Stark, another one across Timber Bavuma. This one closer to that off stump. Timber coming in with that defense. It's not tentative. It's on that off stump. It's not his bat's not moving outside, but that Mitchell Stark is aiming for that edge, and this time it was very very close, very close.
Yeah. Stark with a nice big smile on his face after that delivery, and he's looking very dangerous.
Next one is a lot straighter and finally gets the bat, but this time it's the middle of Timber's bat, straight back to the bowler, no run.
Now, this is Test match cricket at its best. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the bowler that's going to knock over the batter? Is it going to be the batter that's going to start scoring some runs and putting pressure back? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, for South African fans, the batters can fight back here.
And there's a lot of animosity after 2018, and I think Australia just coming through and bringing that. This was way down the leg side. Timber was looking to play at that one, but didn't get bat. Alex Carey, really great catch down the leg side. Some good keeping from him in this match, and no run. Yeah, look, obviously, and that's the irony of not having played Australia in 5 years, or 4 years, is that the team that South Africa take to Australia, only the bowlers and Timber and Dean were in that tour. So there's not going to be a lot of animosity, whereas pretty much 9 of the 11 Australian starters were in South Africa, and I think Travis Head was the 12th man. So they were there. They experienced all of that. It's actually 8 because Alex Carey wasn't there. But it's still a lot of people because Scott Boland, Alex Carey, and Cameron Green, and to a certain extent you could say Travis Head, but he was already in the system at the time. So they remember what happened then. And obviously last week what's happened with David Warner wanting to be that whole ban for life from captaining Australia to be rescinded, and his friend Steve Smith vouching for him. It just was a very emotional week for the Australians. But this one is a short ball from Pat Cummins, pulled down the leg side by the left-handed Sadal Advia. Mitchell Stark have to do a little bit of work after his over. After his over, just to clean that up. 2 runs taken by the South African. Score goes up to 5 for 2. We just need to get to 10, so then the viewers are not confused.
Yes.
As to what the runs are and what the wickets are. So we just need to get.
I was about to say the same thing. That we need to. South Africa need to get to a score where it makes sense when you look at it.
Oh no! This one's a short ball surprised by Pat Cummins gets his wicket. The ball goes to gully. Cameron Green, the man with the catch there. This one was the extra bounce. We saw extra bounce yesterday with the spinners. Now the bowler's getting a little bit of extra bounce, and this one completely surprised Sadal. He was trying to move his bat out the way, couldn't, and all he ended up doing was ramping it to Cameron Green, similar to how you practice slip catching. Just unfortunate events. And Salah Avia goes for 3 off 23. He is not having a great back end to 2022. scored that massive 70 in at Lords, which was amazing.
Mm.
But and he also scored a century earlier this year. It just hasn't come together for Sardo since then. Still averages around 25. So it's a little bit of a question mark for the selectors, and you don't want something like that. And then Jagannath Adishesha says, high time it's better to have 6 batters and enough of Rassi. He simply can't bat a test. Who is the batting coach for this tour? I'll have to look for you. I need to go back to CSA's things, but I think the backroom staff stayed the same. Justin Ontong's there. So is Justin Salmons, who was the batting coach for the World Cup. So assuming he would still keep his job. Yeah, so that brings in Kai Zondo into the crease. He didn't have a great time. He got a peach LBW from Scott Boland. So he'll be hoping to get off this pair. While his partner on the other end still hasn't scored a run. Zondo first ball, and it's edged, but it got to Cameron Green on the ground. The Australians were already running to celebrate Otto, but Cameron Green was like, no, it hit the ground.
My
Okay,
nerves.
maybe there's that elite honesty that they were speaking about from in the Justin Langer times. Oh, man. It got to him, but
so
it got
close.
to him as it was going down, and he got his fingertips on it, but the bottom of the ball was scraping the ground. So really good effort diving forward as a very tall man. But yeah, a lifeline for Kai Zondo. Hopefully he can make the most of it. If not, we're going to be in that situation again where we don't know if we've lost 5 wickets or we've lost 3.
Or 3.
But South Africa have lost 3 wickets, and it's 5 for 3.
Yes, so that's the first target. Get to double figures. Get the team to double figures so that we can get rid of this confusion. And then we can move on from there. Because South Africa now need to bat time. They don't need to worry about the runs. They just need to bat through the rest of the day and see where they can get to. I don't see...
Yeah, and Australia know that they're 2 wickets away from the tail because Marco Jansen comes in and when the 5th wicket falls. Next one, Kai Zondo driving forward. They were looking to see if they could get a single, but it didn't work out. Cameron Green doing a lot of work at that gully point region, and yeah, it really is us. But that's what Test cricket is, and I think for all these new guys coming into the Proteas setup, the Zondos, Sardal, Arvia, they're now seeing what this cauldron is, especially against a high-quality bowling attack. I'm not saying England was high quality, but this Australian team bowling attack is a little bit better. It's actually better than that. Not a little bit, they are better. As Cummins, this one's outside the off stump, defended by Zondo. End of the 8th over. In Australia, it's 3 runs for... It's 3 wickets for 5 runs. In South Africa, it's 5 runs for 3.
Yes, indeed. So, I don't see South Africa winning this Test match. If we can get a victory from this position, that would be one for the ages. I think it's just
you'd need these two.
Get through the day. Get the Test match.
Marco to score about 300 between them.
Yes, that will be what it takes.
You need to open the bowling with Marco and Kagiso. And then first change is Anrich and Lungi, because I think Marco's showing that he's a better bowler than Lungi and Anrich, and we've always known that. The question was, were they going to drop either Lungi or Anrich? And to a certain extent, I think those decisions need to be made anyway for the second test. The first ball of Starks next over down the leg side. Timber looking to play at that, but it's still way down the leg side. He lets that go through to carry no run. And that was disappointing about the 11 they put out, right? I actually wanted them to make that hard decision, because this thing of sitting with 6 batters and 5 bowlers is to a certain extent is very conservative. Rather be aggressive and say, we've got high quality bowling and we can do the job with 4 bowlers, and put
Yeah.
in that extra batsman just because of things like this. And I know against India, it worked out, but in that first test against India, boy, did we not need that 7th batter. This one straight
Mm.
on, defended by Temba back to the bowler, no run. And to a certain extent in the England series as well, you needed that 7th batter because your bowlers could do it. You're gonna
Mm.
get and that's the thing about is obviously the bowler who doesn't bowl the most is the one everyone's going to say no, he needs to be dropped. So for instance, in the first innings, Lungi I think got 1 for like 30, right? They'll be looking at him
Yeah.
saying he's the guy who needs to be dropped.
Mm.
And so for me, that I would have loved Malibonge to and the selectors to have made that tough decision and dropped one of the 3 quicks and said, this
Yes.
is where we're going. Oh, beautiful shot there from Timber, over pitched by Mitchell Stark. It's not going to make
Yes.
it to the boundary as the chase by Labuschagne effectively brings the ball back, holds it back. However, the South Africans do run 3 in that really lovely stroke. He didn't force it. He just let that ball, as overpitched as it is, just glide off the bat. Really lovely chase there by Namanis down to the extra cover boundary, and he does a great job of fielding it. I love the effort. And Australia's grounds are just so large. But 3 runs
They
to
are
Timber, 3 runs to
huge.
South Africa. It's 8 runs for 3 wickets.
Yes, indeed. So Bavuma off the mark. He's got 3 of 16 balls, and Zondo now facing yet to score with 4 balls faced. And Stark bowling his 5th over. He's got 1 for 4.
Mm.
And this is the 9th over. South Africa trail now by 58 runs.
And Zondo doing really well to protect that off stump, gets himself in line at that off stump, just dots the ball down. And all they do is scamper for a single. Kaya's now off the mark in Australia. He's no longer on a pair. 1 for 5.
Yep.
He's on a 1 run or 5 balls. But really, really good to see him do what Rassie couldn't. Rassie just never moved his feet and he found himself in trouble to Mitchell Stark. This time, Zondo just covering that off stump and getting through. We're now seeing images of Cameron Green taking catches at gully like we don't have Marco Jansen as the world's tallest gully. He's taller than Cameron Green. He takes low catches too. But it is the Australian broadcaster. I'm just waiting for the moment where either Tembo or Dean shouts at the stumps and says, "We know what you guys are doing. You've been doing it all along."
Yep. So 9 for 3 is the score. 3 wickets down. Australia needs 7 wickets before South Africa score 57 in order to avoid batting again.
Imagine.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Ooh, that's a nice ball. That straightened and hit Timber on the thigh pad. He missed it. A little bit sore. But yeah, it hit him just outside the off stump. The ball was going across him. So there's no LBW shout, but really good over from Mitchell Stark. The Australians are bowling really well. This opening pair of Cummins and Stark is just, yeah, it's something.
No, I wouldn't wish this facing these 2 bowlers on that wicket on my worst enemy.
I actually would love
the wicket
to face
is looking a little bit better this morning. Well,
I'd love
today.
to face them. I think this wicket just gives you 2 things, and I think that's what Travis Head kind of got, but the South Africans got carried away a little bit. I'll talk about it after this ball. Pat Cummins coming into Kaya Zondo, who is incorporating similar aspects to Shivnarine Chandapal. He's just walking across his crease, trying to cover that off stump. Yeah, you can see Kaya Zondo is a thinking cricketer, but to a certain extent, here's the 2 things, right? If the ball's outside off stump and not over pitched, you do not play at that. If it's short and you're not good at short ball, playing the short ball, do not attempt it. Play anything that is pretty much 5th or 6th stump outside and 2 full. Everything else, just defend. Know where your off stump is. and
Mm.
just defend and let the balls go through. As Kazondo does that as well. He's still walking across his crease. I just hope that it doesn't look like as he's settled as at the time that the ball is delivered.
Mm.
But I think he'll get there. It's just I think at this point in time he's trying to figure out something, and his brain is ticking and he's working through whatever he needs to work through. Whereas his partner on the other hand, Timber's standing on off stump, but he's still. And then Jagannath is saying, top three batters are not attackers. That's the issue. When will Tony get his chance? What's his batting position? This next one is a short ball into the ribs of Kazondo, who plays it down the leg side and a run. It might be a while because the problem is with this batting lineup, but a lot of people are new. Calverain is new, Zondo's new. You've got Salo Ivy, who's probably have had a year, so he's probably, if you want to drop somebody, he's the first one to be dropped. There's also the Aiden Markram issue, who keeps on bullying domestic teams. You've also brought Tennis de Brain into Australia, which means he might need to get around before you start looking at guys back home, unless if you bring in a new coach and he then changes everything.
Is he talking about Tony who?
Defended back to the bowler and run. Tony DeZorzi, who this morning will be playing against the DP World Lions. Tony has scored. He's the leading run scorer in the 4-day series. He scored a 300 at Newlands against. Was it against the Knights or was it against the Rocks? One of those two teams who just look horrible right now. And then he also scored another 100. He scored, I think, another 100 at the start of the season, and then obviously scoring runs in the Momentum One Day Cup as well as an opener. So that would be where he is, maybe even a number 3. As this one is full and overpitched, wide and overpitched, Kazondo gets not enough of it. It's pretty much a bump ball. He literally hits the ball into the ground. So it loses momentum, but they still managed to run 2 because these grounds are big. Finally, it's 11 for 3.
Yep. We've passed the mark where the score is confusing to
South Africans
us,
and everyone else.
The rest of the world,
Australia.
People. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think that's
wow.
Yeah, I think that's the problem that conveners have, the selectors have. Is just these guys are going to be given a chance. Obviously, Rassi's back from injury, so Rassi could be the first one dropped. Sarl probably second. And obviously you've got Tony, who's having a great season. He's done really well. But to a certain extent, my thing is weight of runs the answer? Because we've given guys the opportunity based on the weight of runs, and it hasn't worked. Are we not maybe trying to say, let's look at technique? Guys who have the most compact techniques, guys who have techniques that can last test match cricket, rather than rate of runs. But rate of runs has to be important because you need to be scoring runs with that technique. And so I'd still give Tony a chance. I'd start him with these ODIs against England. I'd like to see him there in that setting and see if he's good enough to come in. Obviously, we've got Yanaman, we've got QDK, you've got Temba. That top order is pretty settled. In that ODI side, short ball into Temba, he tries to shoulder arms. It hits him on the elbow and bounces all the way to the slip corner for no run. You've also got Ryan Reynolds.
What I think we need is an A-side tour to sort this out. So if you're doing well, if you're scoring runs domestically, let's go on an South Africa A tour. And that's something that I've heard people talk about as well. The fact that we have so few of these South Africa A tours. Go and bat in Australia and let's see what you can do there.
And that's true. And I think that does need to happen. But we have a situation right now on the test side where guys can't bat. In the ODI side, it's different. Guys can't bowl. In the ODI side, Quinton de Kock writes his name in the top of that sheet. Yanuman Malan was ODI Player of the Year 2 years ago. He still has it. Rassi averages 79, so you're not going to drop him there. Temba's also playing really well at that level. So you've got a core of 4. Then you've got Heino Klaasen, who is unbelievable in that format. the only question obviously is Kyle Verreynne or Ryan Rickleton, and Kyle Verreynne has done really
Mm.
well in the ODI format as well with the bat. So
Yeah.
you have a core setup of batters. It's just how does your all rounder look? How does your bowling attack look as the next ball goes through to the keeper past the bat of Kazondo for no run. And so, yeah, there's a lot of problems for whoever CSA selects as a new coach, and to a certain extent, I think they need to select a new coach in this month. I know it's the 18th of December, but at the end of the SA20, which is the end of January, England are coming to play ODIs
Mm.
against us, and they're Super League ODIs, and you need to win at least one game in that series to avoid um not
Qualifiers.
yeah. Actually, if you win two, it would be very nice. Another full ball, slightly over pitch, defended out to mid off, no run, because we're playing the Dutch in March as well to kind of complete that series that was stopped because of Omicron. Because remember the first game was a no result, so we shared the points.
Yes.
So you kind of you have to win both those games, and then one against England, to get you into the World Cup. So it's
Yes.
really important. And yeah, I think a guy like Tony would be really nice to be in that setup. And yeah, I think he deserves it. So does Ryan and that ankle of his.
Yeah.
Um,
And we saw what
Another
happened to
full ball outside
the
the off
top
stump and
sides or the
Zondo
more
withdrew.
favored sides in those qualifiers, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, for the T20 World Cup. So we
Yeah,
don't want
but
to be
that's
one of
obviously,
those.
yeah. And the Dutch also want to spoil a party like they did at the World Cup,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And they really did a good job doing that.
And that's the problem with this ODI side is that the one big blemish was that Bangladesh series. And it just looked bad. And now we're in the situation
Yeah.
because of that. Stark into Zondo, who's walking like a crab as Stark comes in, but that's a trigger movement to get himself onto off stump, and he defends it back to the bowler, no run. 3 for 50 or 15 balls, Kai Zondo. Bavuma 4 off 20 balls, end of the 11th over. It's 12 for 3.
Okay, so that means that Bavuma is now the top scorer for South Africa in this innings. 4 runs off 20. And Kaya Zondo's joint second, Sorrel Erwia on 3. But he's still at the crease, so he can still do something there. And Stark and Cummins have now bowled 6 overs each.
But they bowled 5 of the 11 before lunch.
Yes. Oh, so they had the break. Yeah.
Jagannath asks, will there be a split coach or one coach for all format? What is your suggestions? As the first ball from Pat Cummins to Timber, it's been a while since Pat bowled to Timber. Gets a bit of an inside edge onto the pad, no run. I prefer a split because I think it allows people to focus. The only problem is we have the same set of players, and that's my only issue. A split's more expensive, so based on the way things are going with South Africa, yeah, we might find ourselves in trouble there financially. So you might have to go with one. As Cummins comes into Timber, oh yes, Timber cover drive, full cover drive. So not a punch. This one is a full drive through to extra cover for 4 runs.
That is an amazing shot by Temba Bavuma. That is what he can do. But over pitch there and given some width, and Temba says, thank you, I'll have that. There's nobody
Cummins
in extra
for a little
cover
bit more
beyond the sort of 30-meter area. So nobody's sweeping on the boundary. Everybody's close in, very attacking field. And
Really
that one
wide
was hit hard
as
enough
well.
so that it could beat the fielders running back.
Next
16
ball
for 3.
in. Does the bowler get revenge? And he does. He gets the edge
Almost.
of Temba Bavuma and rolls to Usman Khawaja for a flip for no run. Yeah. Look, I don't know who's applied, but there are applications in there. The current coach Mali is there. I wouldn't mind giving Mali a a chance. Obviously, he hasn't
He
played
was the
international
assistant
cricket
coach under Boucher, right?
under
The
Otis
guy
Gibson.
under Otis Gibson. Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
So we still haven't got our succession planning going.
No, because the guy was supposed to take over after Boucher is now director of cricket. Short ball into Timber. Timber plays it out to the next side for no run. Yeah, like if you
All right.
if you
Okay. So
go
we did
through
have a plan.
2023 Otto for the Proteas,
We did have a plan as which is new, which is
well,
nice.
remember when Smith got flack for picking Boucher and not going with
Yeah.
Enoch. So then they came out and said no. In order to get Enoch on, they had to agree that after 2023 World Cup, he would become Proteas coach.
Okay.
Oh, what a ball from Pat Cummins! It beat the outside edge of Timber Bavuma. He was chasing it a little bit unbalanced with his footwork there, and yeah. Luckily for him, no edge, but that's a quicker ball.
Yeah.
And then it seams off the deck.
It hooped through the air a little bit late as well, so that was a beauty. Absolutely stunning delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. But look, I think with SA20 giving us money, we might be able to afford 2 coaches. Yeah, it's something that we're going to have to figure out. Another ball in that 5th stump channel, and Timber just letting it go through to Alex Carey. End of the over at 16 for 3.
So Jagannath Adeshesha saying, get Klusner for ODI and Maketa as test coach.
I'm not a fan of Lance.
Where's Klusner coaching at the moment?
Coach. He is coaching the Durban Super Giants franchise. And all you need to know about him as a coach, you just watch that auction. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And then Ravi, hi Ravi.
Hey. Listening to us while watching England. Thank you, Ravi.
Whenever I love your optimism. Whenever SA batting or bowling fails, you always come up with players who should be in the side to fix it. So let me ask, what can you two agree on an ideal current SA Test 11? The only question I'd ask is based on the guys in Australia, or can I pick guys who are not in Australia?
No, you probably can pick whoever you want. Who's available.
Right. So my thing is this, obviously, with this, I'd keep this 11. I'd keep this batting lineup. I just add another batter. So Tinus de Bruin for me would have come in at 3, and everyone just shifts down 1. And Timber, actually, I think Timber would still be at 4, and Rassie would come in at 5. Scott Boland now comes in. And Scott Boland's first ball outside the off stump. Zondo fishing for the ball, walking like a crab. And just gets past his outside edge for no run. That's what I do. And then obviously the person I'm dropping is Nokia. So I'm dropping Arnold Nokia, and I'm going with Lungi, KG, and Marco. And to a certain extent, whoever's the least fittest out of the 4 quicks is the one who sits out. That's essentially how I look at it. But if I'd like to bring guys in, Ryan Rickleton's my 7th batter in the side. As the next one, outside the off stump, shaping in, seaming in. And Zondo ended up outside the off stump. It hit his pad. There was a bit of an RBW shot there from Alex Carey. No run.
Yeah, that's an interesting... Otto? Well, I mean, as you know, I'm not so deep into all the domestic stuff as you and Tim are. I listen to your podcast to get up to speed. So I would have to go ahead and agree with that. I would like to see somebody get a chance instead of Rassie at this point, and maybe Markram as well, because I like the fact that guys get dropped despite their reputation. I like to send a message out to the other domestic players that these guys are not batting for life for the Proteas. They are, their places are up for grabs.
They score 150 against Australia, you then can stay in the side for 10 years.
Yeah, but that's my point. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be like that. If you score 150 that could keep you in the team for maybe a
Yeah.
season, or
Scott
or
Boland's
maybe,
next two balls just defended out to the offside by Kai Zondo, no run.
you can go along on the next tour. If you score 150 in Australia, we'll take you on the next tour to Australia just to make them think a little bit about whether they're going to have to bowl to you or not. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see set criteria, clear plans. If you fail in two consecutive series, one at home, one away, you lose your place. Somebody else gets a chance. This
Mm.
ball by
Yes, next ball
Boland is a
just a bit
dot.
shorter.
Hmm.
Zondo defending that back. It was on his back foot actually, back to the Boland, no run.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the big reasons why we lose talent to overseas countries. Is like if you're an opening batsman, you're gonna have a left-handed opening batsman. You're gonna have to wait for Dean Algott to retire before you get a chance. And he's the captain. Maybe that's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
No, it's a good example.
Yeah, I mean,
next ball getting the edge of Zondo. This one just going down to the fielder at Gully on the bounce. Made an over from Scott Boland. Still 16 for 3. I agree with you to
so
some extent.
if you're the same age as Algott or maybe a little bit younger, you're going to look at your situation. You're going to say to yourself, "Listen, maybe I can go ahead and play for Scotland, or maybe I can go and play for Ireland or whatever. At least I'll be playing international cricket, instead of the players sticking around and trying to get into the Protea side." Good morning, Jenna.
Good morning,
Hello.
gentlemen.
Hey, Jenna. It's been a while.
It has been, yes.
Season started even. How's it going?
All good, thank you. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good.
Just, the men just found a way to just disappoint us. We just need to support one's cricket. That's all it is. Yeah, there was a WSL, by the way, this week. And there was no audio commentary, which made me even sad. But yeah. Yeah, there's lots to fix in South African cricket, guys. Next over, Cummins is trying to bounce Timber out now. Now we've gone to the point where we're trying to bounce the shortest man in the field. But he rides the bounce, gets off the bat, and it goes to extra cover for a single. Jenna, how's it going? What are you doing? What have you been up to?
Yeah, all good. Currently, I'm on a break from provincial cricket at the moment. The first half of the season finished at the end of November. So we'll be back at training in January, early in January. But then first fixtures of the second half only start in February. So a nice 2-month long break. But we got to hit the ground running is in terms of training as soon as January comes around.
Yeah, next ball from Cummins is short and wide, and Kai decides to cut this one. It didn't go airborne for a long way, but it bounced halfway to Nathan Lyon, who was at point, and good catch there for good stop from Nathan Lyon, he was the unorthodox pick, from groundsman to 450 test wicket taker. Nathan Lyon's story is one Otto watch. You want to find that guy. And the only way you can find that guy is if you give guys a chance. Oh, yes. So Jenna, you guys are coming back in Feb.
Yeah, it's quite a long break.
I suspect because of the World Cup as well, the Under 19 World Cup. That's why everything's just being pushed out to Feb.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, and have you been following this game? What do you think of this men's team?
Obviously the score showing that South Africa is struggling a little bit. I think this quality bowling lineup of the Australian team is definitely stumping us a little bit. But I think that we can definitely pull something out the bag here and make it a little bit entertaining.
Yeah, but having lost 3 wickets before even we've gotten the deficit down is just a bit of it's like a mountain to climb. But these two seemingly trying their best, even though a lot of the senior statesmen before have gotten like peaches of balls. But yeah, just hopefully they can get through this little period. Oh, another. Oh, that's nice. Cummins outside the off stump. Ball coming into Zondo. He's still walking across his crease, which is bothering me a little bit, but it's fine. Whatever works, Kaya. And yeah, just beating the bat there to Alex Carey no run.
Yeah, so we were talking about, Jenna, what is your ideal starting 11 for the men's test team right now? With all the players that are available, picking anybody. So basically, who would you drop and who would you get into this men's team?
Yeah, I was listening a little bit before I came on air, and Otto, I'm quite similar to you. I don't follow men's cricket too closely, especially on the domestic scene. So I would have to say that I can agree with trusted colleague Paul.
Oh no, that's good to hear that I'm not the only one. Just watches the. It's tough to follow the 4-day stuff because they don't really broadcast it that often, you know. So I mean, you've really got to go out of your way to go and read the scorecards, and watch on YouTube with no commentary
and no scorecard.
And no live scoring.
No, they actually do have live scoring. It's just they don't have the scorecard.
Is it?
So you have to go to like Supersport's website. You have to have like YouTube open and Supersport's website open.
Oh yes, of course. Okay, so there's.
And then on the feed, you just see who's in and who's bowling to who. Scott Boland gets the ball to Timber, first ball to Timber. A little bit of a good length ball, but Timber made it seem like it was a little bit short. He came forward and he played it back to the bowler, a little bit of extra bounce, I would assume. But yeah, no run there. Scott Boland's my worry in this Australian side. These are the two we've seen so many times. It's him. He's the guy we haven't seen. We watched him in the Ashes, but I think obviously seeing him bowl like this is really nice. Another ball, a little bit of a seaming back in there as it goes past the performance of stump and run.
Okay, so Zondo was given out LBW in the first innings by Scott Boland, so definitely might be in the back of his mind as he is facing him now.
There was a joke that said, "Bring Eden Markram in. The moment he sees Boland, he'll think he's playing domestic cricket and he'll score runs." And this one is full on or middle stump defended with the full face of that bat back to Boland for no run. It's really interesting. Like some of these surnames, you're like, Obviously, Scott's not born in South Africa. He's actually he's got some native roots in his family. Actually, he's one of the first few native players, I think, even after Andrew Simon. So that was really nice to see at the Ashes last year. Nice little foolish ball. Timber defends it back to point for no run, 17 for 3. The deficit's still 49. We're not going to talk about the deficit for a while. But what you need is obviously these guys to get themselves through. Timber to get this team through this period. These are the knocks that made Timber famous and kept him in the side.
And even his 30-odd that he scored in the first innings, I mean, like we talked about this on air, that the scorecard's not going to show how important that 30-odd runs were.
Yes, and finally Scott Boland makes an error. He overpitches one to Bavuma, who drives this. This one's a lot straighter than the previous drives that he hit before, but still same results. 4 runs to South Africa. Timber moves to 13. South Africa moves to 21.
Yeah, that's the positivity that we definitely need to see from the South African batters. I think early on you were speaking a little bit about whether to go more attacking or more defensive, but I definitely think that the trick here is to wait for that bad ball, that overpitched ball, let the Australians make a mistake, and then jump onto that as soon as and as effectively as possible.
Next ball into Timber. This one seems into his thigh pad outside the off stump, back hitting him in or Timber's ended up outside that off stump, so there's a little bit of a muted appeal from the Australians. But that's what this pitch is doing. But that's what Scott Boland and the Australians are doing. They're making the ball move both ways, and that just makes batting even harder, just harder.
At least today you can see the difference between the pitch and the rest of the field. Because yesterday was ridiculous. You can now actually see where the pitch ends.
It would have been interesting to see how Australia would have fared had South Africa bowled first.
Yes.
I think we'd have the similar situation.
Mm.
And it's always one place where batting last actually works. First ball of Cummins over to Zondo. This one, another ball that just goes outside that off stump and that edge of the bat. Zondo defending down that off stump line. And so Pat Cummins is going to go into the whole I'm now aiming for your edges mode to see if he can't get the wicket of Kai Zondo.
Yeah, he is so good at that. He only has 2 wickets, 11 runs, and he's 7 points. He's bowled 2 maidens. So definitely, well, I can't say the pick of the bowlers because all 3 have been so good so far. But definitely in terms of wickets.
A little bit shorter next ball or wider. Kai Zondo not thinking about it and letting it go through.
So they're showing Lion here. Is he warming up?
Yes.
Or is it going to be Cameron Green?
We've got 8 minutes until the hour is up. So I think you'd want to break the South African side. And Nathan could get something with Kai Zondo, could get something with Temba, just because the change of pace and a change of focus. Full one on the pads there, defended back by Zondo to the bowler, because obviously the batters are waiting for the fast bowlers to come in, the ball to go past them at about 130 k's an hour, so you get into a rhythm and get into a groove. So if you bring in somebody who's considerably slower and does something slightly different in Nathan Lyon, obviously you have to focus, you have to take a new guard, you have to then remember what you do to spin, whereas here you're just going through the motions, building a rhythm. And it's becoming a little bit easier to bat for the South Africans, just like that rhythm I was talking about. Kai Zondo, stand and deliver, cover drive through extra cover.
Nice.
It was slightly wider than the previous balls, but like I said, he's building a rhythm, he's now getting comfortable, and that one was a really lovely shot, more back foot than front foot, but yeah, nice little one for the cameras. And one for his Facebook profile picture. 4 runs. It's 25 for 3.
Yeah, he didn't really lean into that one, but his hand's so good, so fluid through the ball. A wonderful cricket shot.
Now we've got a short leg in place. Travis Head at short leg. Oh, another ball. Zondo was expecting a short ball there, but
good leave.
A bluff as he just bowls it straight on. Outside that fifth stump channel. And
I'll say that was a good leave.
Look, it was. It was. A good leave is a leave that does not result in a wicket.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I think he played well inside the line of that one. I think you really meant to let that go. So that's
and
good
that's what
science.
Rassie just can't do. He doesn't want to play inside the line. His bat's always hanging outside. Another ball just tailing into Zondo. He defends it out on the bounce to point. That's the end of the over. 16 overs have been bowled. 25 for 3. I'm going to hand over to the two of you. Just need to sort out my life before load shedding. But thank you very much, Ozmaster.
No problem.
And Jenna.
Thank you, Paul.
Great. Cheers, guys.
Love to hear from you. Anis is on his way. I'll keep you company until he comes on, Jenna. It's so good to have you with us once again, and thank you very much to Mpo and everybody else that's helping us do this this broadcast. It's always tough when we play in Australia, but I think it helps that we just ignore the pre-lunch session, and then we can get up a little bit earlier, and we don't have to decide whether we want to stay up all night or get up early.
Yeah, very true. I personally don't like waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning, but this post lunch is it's okay.
It's doable. Yeah, it's doable. Yeah,
Should
and then
I
you're
do a
doing
bit of
two.
bubble?
Yes, please. Because
Okay.
then you do like 2 hours of commentary, and then you have to wait 40 minutes for lunch to end anyway. So
Yeah,
sort of
true.
strange, but here we go.
Boyland in at straight and full, and just defended straight back to the bowler for no run. They're
So
showing
that's
a bit of a
Bavuma facing
montage.
on.
They're showing a little bit of a montage of Scott Boyland to Tempo Bavuma, and very consistently good length outside the off stump. Yeah,
They were
increased
showing
to
that little block.
overs. Yeah, definitely hitting that block hole more often than not. Next one, once again, full outside the off stump. Going a little bit, fishing a little bit Temba Bavuma, but going through past the outside edge to the keeper there for no run. Scored 25 for 3 after 16.2. Zondo on 7 of 32. Temba Bavuma on 13 of 35. Building a little bit of a partnership here. I think this is a crucial partnership here for the South African men.
Yep, once again, Bavuma is there to save our blushes.
Pocket rocket here for South Africa. It's full outside the off stump, seaming back in. Timber goes on the front foot in a defensive manner, but once again beating the outside edge, going through to Alex Carey.
Oh, yesterday's innings by Bavuma was really super important. Him and Kyle Verreynne, it could have been so much worse for South Africa. So if you look at that score in the first innings, you take away Kyle Verreynne and Bavuma's runs, then you understand how important those runs were.
Yeah, definitely. He scored 38 of 70, and definitely something to piggyback on now in the second batting innings for South Africa. As this one, Temba Bavuma gets some bat on it outside of, but just defends it out to Kali for no run. Playing with soft hands there, I think was the difference on that fourth delivery. Not pushing too much at it, but letting the ball come onto the bat.
And I think that if those top order players could have stayed in, this pitch is getting easier and easier to bat on, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because yesterday was really super tough, but it really looks like this demons in the pitch are calming down.
Oh, full outside the off stump, and this is defended into the leg side. Pat Cummins at mid-on goes to field that ball. They come through for a quick single. There is a bit of a shy at the keeper's end. Direct hit there by Pat Cummins. But Kaya Zondo well in at least half a meter back grounded before ball makes contact with the stumps. A good piece of fielding there by Cummins, but the South Africans making sure to take on the fielders, make sure that they're putting pressure on them and not letting Australia bowl to them 6 balls in a row.
Yep, that helps.
Boyland into Kaya Zondo, last ball of the over. This one, a peach of a delivery, full outside the off stump and beating the outside edge. Seaming in, Boyland getting some really nice shape off the screen wicket. But Kaya Zondo getting through that over with the last ball.
Yeah, and the...
So I'm just going to give a score update. 26 for 3 after 17 overs.
So let's see if people called it right, that they're going to maybe bring Lion on just before the drinks break. Because we're coming up to the hour now. No, it looks like Cummins is going to bowl his 9th over. He did have a rest in the form of a lunch break. After starting his stint, he's bowling his 9th over.
Cummins
He's got
into
2 wickets for
Temba Bavuma. Full defended out to point by Bavuma for no run. Sorry, go on, Otto.
No, I was just about to say, it's just 2 wickets for 15 and starting his 9th over. So he's really leading from the front here. partnership is now 21 or 59, and South Africa trail by 40 runs with 7 wickets in hand.
Cummings in to Temba Bavuma. This just back of a length to Bavuma, who plays a sort of middle-footed shot into the cover region. Come through for a quick single, and the fielders get into the ball quickly, but the South African batters quick between the wickets, and they get through for that single. 27 for 3.
Yeah, so that's 39 runs now South Africa need in order to make Australia bat again. That would be really horrible if Australia managed to bowl South Africa out before they get past the deficit.
Yeah, South Africa, I think just ball by ball, run by run, just take it as it comes. Short ball to Kaya Zondo. He ducks underneath this one. And Cummings on the attack here. I love a short ball.
No, that is definitely a weapon for the Australians. The South Africans not going after the short deliveries, just getting well out of the way.
Yeah, that was definitely
These two can stick together until tea. We might have a chance of posting a score at some point. Something to bowl at. Oh, and there goes Zondo, chasing after a short one.
Short one. He plays that pull shot, and that will race for 4 to the square leg boundary. And that time just missing a little bit. Pat Cummings just over pitches that bouncer a little bit, so Zondo is able to get through that ball for 4. It is called a no ball. Pat Cummings' front foot just about 3 or so centimeters over that front line.
Quite a big no ball in terms of international cricket, but well handled by Zondo.
Yeah, very well handled. Off this time, full outside the off stump. Kai Zondo covering the off stump, moving his feet across the line, but leaving that one, a big leave from Zondo outside the off stump through to Alex Carey for no run.
Yeah, that 4 also pushed Zondo into double figures, 11 now off 36.
Yeah, before these two came in, it was single figures, and Otto Yuenpo said if we can just get to single figures, and now the score 32, so just run by run here.
Yes, the first goal was just to get the score above 10 so that we can see which part is the wickets and which part is the score.
Well, the two South African batters have done so as the next ball left alone outside the off stump.
Still 3 slips and a gully in, backward point. That short square leg is there, mid on, mid off, quite close in, almost in line with the bowling crease. Cummins now bowling his final delivery of his 9th over.
Kai Zondo on 11 of 37. This ball back of a length outside the off stump, quite far outside the off stump, not too attacking to the South African man, and he just leaves that one through. No run. That's the end of the 18th over. The score 32 for 3. Temba Bavuma on 15 of 40 deliveries, really holding things together, and Kai Zondo on 11 of 37.
Yeah, so I was telling Mpo as well, I think these South Africans just need to bat time. They need to spend as much time at the crease now as they possibly can, and not bother too much about the runs at this point. Just don't lose wickets. Just occupy the crease for as long as possible. That's got to be the plan.
Yeah, I do agree with that. However, I don't think it's going to hurt too much to be a little bit attacking. I think sometimes we get like a message, definitely when I play, I've been coached sometimes just to say, go 5 runs at a time, just make sure you get to that 5 or get to the other end of the crease. And if those two batters can do that, then I do think South Africa are able to do that. This partnership's so crucial.
Yeah, because After this, it's Marco Jansen and the tail. Well, it's Calverena, so they need 2 more wickets to get into the tail. It's the Australians.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a jinx break now.
Break in play, and we didn't see Lyon bowling before the drinks break. Maybe afterwards. Hopefully the 2 batters can get through this as well. Often we see the wickets falling around the breaks in play. And we're seeing a replay of the wickets here. Oh, that was pretty, I would say, borderline unlucky for Dean Algar and Rassie van der Dussen. I mean, it looks like he played too far outside the line when he got dismissed, but really that ball almost took a 90-degree turn off the pitch.
Yeah, it was a brilliant
if that ball you could see it jagging back in off the pitch, and you really can't play for that kind of movement. You'll go crazy. So his bat was in the right place for the line that the ball was coming from. But off the wicket, it just went through the gate and made him look extremely silly.
Yeah.
And then, Erwin tried to leave it. He was probably in 2 minds about whether or not to play at that delivery, and then it just scooped off his bat to Gully. So, Anis, good to see you, my man.
Morning. Bit of confusion.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take a break. You two take us through to, what is that, 20 past at least. And let's play it by ear and see where we go from there.
Cool, sounds good. Thank
you. Good luck.
No
Thank wickets, lots of runs.
We'll try our best. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Anis. How are you?
Good.
Great.
But as bowling comes in now, and Timber Bavuma on the front foot pushes it through cover, and they come through for 2. Huge ground, lots of opportunities for singles and 2s, and as you and Otto said, Otto was saying bat for time, and you said a bit of positivity, and I like your way of doing things. Don't get bogged down. Just push 1s and 2s. The gaps are there. Try to look a bit more positive.
Yeah. I think they're doing well so far. Timber making sure that he gets onto the mispitched deliveries.
As this one comes in and squeezed out on middle and off, and squeezed out by Timber to the offside, and is scampered through for another single. Kaya Zondo is in the cauldron of fire right now. Just his 3rd test, South Africa in a bit of strife. We know his captain said he wants the batters to make a name for themselves, and there's no better time than now to do just that. Bowling in again past the umpire, well defended by Zondo, spending time at the crease now. Interesting thing about the South Africa's first innings was that only 3 batters faced more than 20 deliveries.
Yeah, very interesting fact there. And both batters now have surpassed that 20 delivery mark. So they're doing really nicely, and I think I agree with you there, Anis. Zondo really does have nothing to lose here. I mean, it really can't get any worse than those first 3 batters. So, yeah, he definitely can make his mark here. It just needs to be as positive as possible.
This one from Boland dropped short. Zondo, no problem, just ducking underneath it, letting it go past the keeper, being very watchful. Zondo on 11 of 40, Temba Bavuma on 18 of 42. The score is 35 for 3. South Africa trail by 31 runs at the moment, just rebuilding now. What do you think that they're going to be trying to search for? Is only day 2. Session 2 of day 2 as bowling comes in now. This one, it's a good length, and there's an appeal for RBW, but not given by the umpire.
Yeah,
Are
I
they going to
definitely
go up?
think.
God,
Yeah, good ball there by Boland, but the umpire having none of that.
just checking now. Coming in a long way. Inside edge onto the pad, missing leg stump.
I have just been kind of following the scores so far this test match, and I haven't really watched much live. How has the umpiring been in your opinion? Obviously, both umpires are like quality, but it's possible to have a bad day here or there. What is your opinion on that?
There was a bit of controversy yesterday as this one is on off stump and it is pushed forward by Kaya Zondo, squeezes off into the offside, and they take no right. Nathan Lyon coming into the attack now. There was a bit of controversy yesterday where the umpires on the field missed 2 no ball calls. However, the third umpires brought it to their attention, and each time they went and they spoke to the bowler when Australia were bowling. And yesterday, they missed a no ball call once the South Africans were bowling. The third umpire spoke to the standing umpires, and it was given a no ball the first time, no warning. So it was so that was a bit frustrating. I think someone had a talking to the umpires there, but other than that, they got. It hasn't been. They've been very good when it comes to wickets. So yeah, I haven't seen anything that's been egregiously bad, except for that it was just a bit confusing as to the no ball calls. But other than that, they've been very good.
Yeah, that does sound quite confusing. Yeah, I think it's difficult to be an umpire a little bit at school cricket. I coach a girls' high school team, and umpiring, you think it looks easy and you think you can just stand and do what you see, but there are lots of other levels to it.
This one from Themba Bavuma is looped outside off stump, and there's just a forward press by Themba and gets the outside edge and runs down to short. Third man for no run, line in again. Themba Bavuma on the sweep, well outside off stump, and the ball hits the pad and loops up, and a diving Steve Smith can't affect the catch, but it falls safe. And there was no edge on that, so it was just off the pad. He's sweeping well outside off stump. Third ball now coming in to Themba Bavuma. Pushing to the offside.
Yeah, this change of pace here by the Australian team, Nathan Lyon, just changing things up, racing through the over, will put a lot of pressure, I think, on the South African batters.
This one comes back a long way again, and Themba Bavuma works this one to the leg side, pitched just outside off, and spun back to hit about leg. Themba Bavuma on his back foot punches it to the leg side for the single. The score moves on to 3-4. Well, 4-3. 36 for 3, sorry. As Nathan Lyon coming in again. Kaya Zondo, first ball of spin, and he sweeps, and it goes down to deep backwards square for a single. 37 for 3 now.
That's wonderful creativity there by the young South African man. It's really good to see players sweeping, especially off the first delivery that they're facing with the spinner.
Themba Bavuma plays a carbon copy of that sweep shot and to the same man, and they get the single. Jenna, how about what we alternate overs for ball by ball? Just to get my voice isn't really that warmed up now, and I'm getting tired of hearing my own voice.
Oh, no worry, my feed is a little bit slower than yours. But I think if we're just patient with each other, then we can
No
make
problem.
things happen.
So you'll be taking this Poland over, and I'll take the next line over. And you say very innovative play. I have a love-hate relationship with the sweep shot.
As do I. As do I.
I get so frustrated.
Yeah. I think when I'm playing the sweep shot and it either goes wonderfully well or terribly wrong.
Yeah, it usually goes wrong for me.
Boland into Temba Bavuma. Temba on 20 of 47. This one full on the off stump. And Temba Bavuma just squeezing that one out, making contact with the toe of his bat, just going out to a mid-off region for no run.
Very well done out there by Temba Bavuma. So yeah, as I was saying, this sweep shot and I, mostly a hate relationship.
Yeah, it definitely is an acquired kind of shot. Boland in once again to Temba Bavuma. This one a full outside the off stump. Bavuma pushing out a little bit, but sealing away from the bat as it goes past the outside edge through to Alex Carey for no run.
Seeing some lots of clouds in the sky, overcast conditions, really assisting the bowlers this morning. Still open? No, it's afternoon there in Australia. This morning by us.
Yeah, definitely. Just one extra added thing to assist the bowling unit of Australia. But Temba Bavuma and Zondo just making sure they're in the game here. Boland to Temba. This one full on off stump makes contact with the inside half of the bat and goes out to the leg side. They come through for 2. And that's really good soft hands there from Temba Bavuma, just playing out in front of the front pad. Contact with the bat was decent as the ball was seaming in towards the right-handed batter, but just letting that one run off the bat. Good running for 2. Both batters quite good in between the wickets, fast runners, so definitely making use of that between the wickets.
Just rotating the strike very, very well. Coming 3 for 2 there. 440 for 3 now is the score.
Boland to Bavuma outside the off stump, and this one left alone by Bavuma goes through to the keeper, no run taken. Yeah, what do you think is an ideal score here for South Africa in this situation?
Oh, they're going to need to get a lead of 250 to be fair, to be very competitive. They're going to need 250 they're going to need 300 to feel confident that they're not going to lose.
Boland to Bavuma, just short of a length, and he stands up to try and play that off the back foot, but passes the outside edge of the bat. Once again, for no run, goes through to Alex Carey.
But then again, it's only the second session of day 2 of this test match. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of cricket. So unless they're batting to the middle of tomorrow and can bat through the day, maybe until tea tomorrow, South Africa won't be that confident and they won't feel that safe.
Yeah, so it is a mixture of time at the crease and runs on the scoreboard. As Boland to Bavuma, this time soft hands to the mid-on region. They go through for that quick single. I'm really enjoying the strike rotation here from the 2 South African batters.
Yes, that's fantastic to see the rotation of the strike. It's keeping things positive, keeping the scoreboard moving, and making the Australians think as well about how they're going to break this partnership. I love that teddy bear. There's a block of there's an apartment building overlooking the ground, and there's this giant teddy bear on one of the railings who are looking over watching the cricket. Unless that's someone in a teddy bear suit.
That is quite cute, actually.
Nathan Lyon comes in now, confident forward press by Timber Bavuma to the offside, and they come through for a single. Kaya Zondo on strike. Jen, what age group team do you coach?
It's a high school team. Girls cricket a little bit different to the boys at a high school level. So from the 5 grades at high school, only 2 teams, a first and a second team. And then I also have beginners cricket, which is girls in grade 8 and 9 who have never heard of or thought of cricket before, that are learning it for the first time, which is a struggle for me, but I actually enjoy that the most.
Just this one from Nathan Lyon outside off stump doesn't turn that much. The arm ball from Kaya Zondo, and he lets that one go through. This next one turns prodigiously from outside off. Kaya Zondo again, just defending, no run there. With that's so cool, because with the 2 different teams, the first and second team, and then the beginners team, you have to focus on so many different things as Zondo comes in again. Lion comes in again, and Zondo defends. So with the beginners, what are your different between the beginners and the first and the second? What are the main points you want to hit differently for the 2? As Lion comes in again, this one turns and it is patted away to the leg side from Kaya Zondo, and there is no run. Score remains 42-3.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question there, Anis. I think with the beginners, we focus a lot on having fun and just like getting the basics, but playing games through the basics. I think for the girls, if we take it too seriously too soon, they lose interest.
Yeah.
So we definitely focus on fun.
Just outside of stump, turning in, Kazondo keeps it out, and that's the end of the over. 42 for 2. You with the games and with the games for the beginners, how much of it is obviously you're focusing on fundamentals, but how technical are you getting with them? Compared to, and how technical are you with the first and the second?
Yeah, obviously not too technical, because as soon as you do that, the girls are kind of like, oh, well, I can just go play netball because I know how to play netball. I've played netball throughout primary school. This is something new, and obviously a lot of the girls take on that challenge of that technical aspect, as Boland is into Temba Bavuma, just leaves that one through to the keeper for no run. Some of the girls take on the challenge of the technical side of things, but I would say more don't. It is quite a difficult thing to balance, and because they've never even thought about playing cricket before they come to high school, it's a big balance of, number one, teaching them the rules and helping them understand the rules, because there are lots of rules in cricket, but then also trying to make it as fun as possible, and that technical aspect, I suppose, does have to come in at some point, as the next ball is a full on off stump, and Bavuma just plays that out into the offside. They go through for a single, looking for 2, but unable to cross for that second run. The score 43 for 3.
When you're looking at your first and second, do you see how big? How much do you encourage them if you see someone with talent? How do you encourage them to maybe take it a step further, come play club cricket, etc.?
Yeah, I'll get to that now. Boland into Zondo, this a bouncer, and Zondo just ducks underneath that. Alex Carey catching that above his head, so that one really took off the green wicket. Yeah, finding talent is one thing, but then keeping and nurturing that talent is a completely different thing. I think getting the girls into the system as soon as possible, like into club cricket, and sending them for provincial trials, Gauteng trials, because I do coach in the CGL region. just to expose them to a level of cricket that they haven't seen before, I do think is very important. Also to expose them to other players outside of school, other coaches besides me, I do think is very important. So yeah, we do encourage the girls to go to a couple of clubs in the area and just to play either the Premier or President's League cricket at club level.
How many do the girls play against boys teams, or is there an official league in the CGL?
Yeah, so CGL does have a primary school league and a high school league. The primary school league isn't so big. I think there are only about 6 teams in that league, as this one is left alone by Zondo through to the keeper for no run. 43 for 3. So there is a high school league. There's obviously a first team and a second team league. So some schools enter their first team into the second team league if they are like new to cricket. So it's not often that my girls in any case play against boys, maybe a couple in the off season, but more often than not playing against under 13 boys or even under 11, depending on the level of the girls that I'm sending.
Yeah, no, that's so cool, because I'm gonna have that problem soon. my middle child interested, but she's only 6, so I'm gonna try to get into the system as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but
that is
I also don't just want, but where I'm living in Korea, the schools around here don't really offer the cricket for the girls, so I'm also worried by that she's just going to be playing against guys.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing cricket with the boys, so I mean, it's not a bad place to start. If she is capable and her skill level is there, then it's a different experience to playing with the boys, to playing with the girls. Boys are a lot more competitive, but they also seem to have fun. So
it's let's line into Temba Bavuma, forward prod, and into the offside, and no run there.
Ken has come onto the scene. Good morning, Ken.
Hey,
How are
Ken.
you?
Hi, Jenna. How's it, Anish?
I can. As the second ball from Nathan Lyon comes in for defensive, and there is no run. 3 for 3 is the score. How you sorry, as Nathan Lyon comes in this one, Temba Bavuma onto the back foot, tries to force it away, and it and it goes through for no run. That is 43 for 3. The score remains. Ken, what do you think so far this post-line session? I know that you've been struggling with rolling power cuts. As Nathan Lyon comes in, the reverse sweep is pulled out, and it's swept well, and it's 4 runs to Temba Bavuma. On to 29 he goes. The score on to 47. Just breaking the tension that was building up, breaking the pressure that was building up from Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, wonderful creativity there by Temba Bavuma. Confident on that reverse sweep, pouncing on that, playing on top of the ball, making sure it goes down, as there is a backward point and a slip in place.
This one turns in. Keeps line is given. LBW. Temba Bavuma playing back, thinking about his decision. Has he gone up? Because that looked pretty good. That looked very in line. They are going up. That turned a bit.
It turned a bit, and it definitely stayed low too.
Oh, that would squatted.
Maybe the turn will save Bavuma there. Maybe turn too much. Let's hope.
Oh, the only thing, height is fine. The only thing can be if it turned too much or on a divot.
Seeing the slow motion replay here.
Oh, you
following
see.
the ball.
Oh, that's leg stump.
Oof.
Nice middle. Oof.
His back foot is outside the off stump. It's making contact with the inside half of that back foot. But he is quite far over.
Oh, it's far back.
Deep in the crease.
Just under the knee roll. I think Temba Bavuma might be on his way. Whoa. Missing! Oh no, umpire's call! Oh!
Oof.
That's the group preferred RBW.
And Temba Bavuma has to go.
The Proteas have had an umpire call.
61. Oh, that was tight. 47 for 4 is the score, with Calvarena, the last recognized batsman, on his way to the crease. South Africa still trail by 19. It's time for maybe a bit of a counter-attack. We saw Australia do that very well yesterday, aiming for that one boundary and over. But I would hope that Carl would know that first he needs to play himself in before he goes at least bat for 20 balls to get an idea of what's happening. This pitch has just decided to turn quite a bit. Nathan Lyon getting a prodigious movement and getting it to squat low. The ball just hitting a divot.
Well, I was going to say that I like the way Bavuma and Zondo were going about things. I like their positivity. It would have been very easy in this sort of situation to get stuck, to get into a defensive mindset. And I think the way they went about things was actually the right way. They still tried to score. So I dare say Carl Verena naturally might even be a little bit more aggressive. But they did very well in the first inning.
One ball to come now in this Nathan Lyon over, striking, getting rid of the rock Temba Bavuma. Loads of players around the bat, a slip, a leg slip, a short leg, and he takes a big stride forward and just defends down the ground to back to Nathan Lyon. Looking at the deliveries now, keeping it around the first three. We kept around 90 kilometers an hour. 4. And then the wicket, was around the same speed. It just turned so much more. Getting the better of Temba Bavuma, not knowing whether to play back or forward, especially since it kept low.
Well, I think he could have been forward. It was a full enough leg for him to get forward. So, yeah, that didn't help him.
Yeah, definitely agree with you, Ken. Gentlemen, I'm going to step off for a little bit and I'll come on a little bit later to join somebody. Have fun. Worries. No wickets, lots of runs.
Thanks, Jay.
Cheers, Jenna.
As bowling comes in now to Zondo, who defends outside off for 1 run, 48 for 4. They got to keep positive, as you said, Ken, and just defend. Not defend, just keep the strike rotating. 1s and 2s right now. It's day 2, day 1.5. So there's plenty of time to bat. So run rate shouldn't be, or run rate and strike rate shouldn't be an issue. So just keep rotating the strike. As Carl Verena about to take his first ball from Scotty Bowling. This one finds the edge and it's gone! Oh, second ball, Carl Verena. And with that, I think South Africa's hopes are sunk. 48 for 5. Oh, what are we watching? Is Jenna jinxed us?
Well, Verena also, it seems to be a lot of the South African batsmen tend to play from the crease a lot, stuck on the back foot, and that's the game. It was a fairly good length delivery. Varane basically had both feet together in the crease, prodding.
Yeah.
Like the thing was to cover the movement, and well, next off, second clip.
I wonder if it's a technical issue. But then again, as our pundits around the country have been saying, South Africa aren't playing enough first class cricket. 7 games in a season is definitely not enough to build a strong test team.
Exactly. And to be fair, it was actually a fantastic length.
It was.
Not the easiest thing to get forward to that length, especially this early in his innings. So credit more to the bowler there, I guess. And the pitch.
Look, the 2 of the wickets this morning. The delivery to Rassie van der Dussen was Jaffa, but he left a huge gate, and it went through. It just found its way in between, snuck like a thief in the night in between the gate left between bat and pad. Dean Elgar always looks so uncomfortable at the wicket, so it's basically only a matter of time. And here we got a snorter. So I don't know how much we can read into besides Rassie van der Dussen. That's a technical flaw there, but it happens to the best of everyone. As Marco Jansen is now facing his first ball from Poland, and this one is full on Midland leg, and Jansen has no problem just tapping it away to the leg side. Oh, but lots of question marks over the South African batting lineup now.
Well, one feels there are going to have to be changes for the second test of the MCG. Obviously, South Africa probably will need to win that, keep the series alive. And at the moment, the batting is just simply not firing.
As Boland comes in outside off, coming back, and he beats the defense of Marco Jansen and he's bowled him 6 for 48. South Africa trail by 18. Oh, okay.
This guy has an amazing ability to take multiple wickets in an over. He keeps doing it. He's done it again. He did it in the first innings. He's done it again today. 2 wickets in the 7th over of the innings.
Jansen just late in the shot, he covered everything perfectly. The ball just avoided his bat like it was a magnet.
He played for too much movement, if anything. Played for the ball coming back into him. And it didn't seem back as much as he expected, and went past the outside edge into off stump, which he hadn't covered.
Played all around it. In comes Keshav Maharaj. Kaya Zondo just watching the carnage on the other end.
Well, there's now a very good chance that this will be a 2-day test match.
Yeah. Game over before close of play today. Oh! South Africa trail by 18 runs. Australia might still win by innings after only scoring 218. Wow. That is... Wow. We know the Proteas are going to get roasted by the media for this batting performance. 48 for 6 is the score after 24 points with 2 balls to come in the 25th over.
It won't quite be a record lowest total to win by an inning. I'll give you that after this delivery.
Because this one nips back in to Keshav Maharaj, who is solid in defense. Didn't really get much opportunity to bowl, only bowled the 2 overs, but was quite expensive. The Australians are G'd up. They are absolutely fired up with this fantastic over so far from Boland.
So if Australia do win by an innings, it will be the fourth lowest total to have won by an innings in Test cricket.
Fourth lowest. When was the probably? How many of those was South Africa involved in?
Well, I was just waiting for the next delivery, which Maharaj has squeezed away through back to point for a single to get off the mark. So 49 for 6 South Africa. The all-time record is actually Australia against South Africa at the MCG in 1932, when Australia made 153 and then bowled South Africa out for 36 and 45 to win by an innings of 72 runs. Second on the list is Australia, were actually the victims this time. England made 172 in 1888 at Old Trafford, and Australia were bowled out for 81 and 70 to lose by an innings and 21 runs. And third lowest is 199 for 8 declared. Australia again. This time they were the winners over New Zealand at the Basin Reserve, which is in Wellington, in 1946. New Zealand making 42 and 54. Australia winning by an innings and 103 runs. So this match would sneak in just above the West Indies, scoring 218 and beating Pakistan by an innings and 10 runs at the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, in 1986.
As this one from Nathan Lyon is tossed up, Keshav Maharaj has no problem getting on the drive, and he drives it well through the covers, and they come back for 2. So this would be the if they win by an innings, 15 runs to get to avoid that. It will be the first time in 40 years. So it will be the lowest score in 40 years.
More.
Oh no.
The first time since 1946 that a team has scored less than 2. That a team has scored less than 220. Less than 218. So 1986 is you're right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's not dwell on those records. Nathan Lyon in again. This one turns in to Keshav Maharaj, and he works it to the leg side for no run. 51 for 1, trail by 15. Kaya Zondo 13 or 53. Keshav Maharaj 3 or 5. So you just got to hang around. This one comes in again, pitches outside off, misses leg stump, and there is no run. The ball turned prodigiously. Keshav Maharaj looking at himself, where was this when I was bowling? Two balls to come in the state line over this one, 91.8, a bit quicker through the air. Pitched at a good length on off stump, turning back, would have hit the wickets, but kept out by Keshav Maharaj. 51 for 6 is the score. Again, a looping delivery outside off, coming back in quite a bit, defended by Keshav Maharaj. No run there. 51 for 6, trail by 15.
One does wonder what the Gabba groundsman was thinking when he prepared this pitch, given how difficult it has been for batting and given the recent form of South Africa's batsmen. It was always likely to end very early, but a 2-day test would be a real disaster for the Queensland Cricket Association. You know, the costs in terms of leasing security, hospitality, catering, all those things that surround a major test match that you have to hire for 5 days and pay, and you're only getting 2 days of ticket sales.
Yeah, just think about it. That's what sponsors aren't going to be happy because They want to have their name out there quite a bit. 4 or 5 days and only two, and they're only getting two. So yeah, they also everyone's losing money, but it shouldn't be about the money. It should be about the cricket because as soon as it becomes about the money, uh, weird things start happening in cricket as Boland bowled this one short of a length. Zonda kept it out. He's past the umpire again, short of a length, outside off. Zonda defends well, getting behind that. I wonder if he's shutting the gate for now and trying to just bet time, but they need to keep the strike rate moving. You don't want to dig yourself into a hole, as Ken said
Well,
earlier.
there's always going to be a ball on this pitch that's got your name on it as well. So,
Yeah.
you might not be there for a long time, so you might as well try and take the scoring opportunities that come your way.
Past the umpire now. This one outside off. Zondo a bit late on the cut, getting a bottom edge, dribbling to a gully for no run. Keshav Maharaj is going to die wondering. So Zondo is just probably going to stand there on the other end and be like, okay, what am I going to do? He's in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, Zondo knows batting with Maharaj well from the time in the Dolphins team. And Scotty Bowler, not the sort of bowler to give you many scoring opportunities though either. He's a bit of a Vernon Philander type bowler who's consistently just outside that off stump.
Putting as you were saying yesterday, putting it on a handkerchief. If you see the grouping of his deliveries, they're all pretty much hitting the same area. That one on off stump defended again by Kaya Zondo, and the score remains 51 for 6. Just gotta keep him out, and wait for one. It might be a long wait, but just wait for one to get off strike. As he's in again now, past the umpire. This one full on off stump. Zondo defending, keeping everything tight, and there is no run. They just rang the release points. There's one ball from a couple of balls from Scotty Bowler that are way below all the other delivery release points. So I'm wondering how he got that right. Did he lean over a bit more? As he's in now. This one a bit straighter. Zondo works this one to a mid on for no run. 51 for 6 after 27. South Africa still trail by 15. Again, a bowler's day at the Gabba. We're seeing the ground decked in sunshine, but we're seeing clouds circling. So it's like there's only there is a Gabba-sized hole in the cloud cover where the sun is shining through at the moment.
Yeah, cloud cover probably also helping the bowlers today. The grass does take to stand up a bit more when it's overcast.
As this one from Nathan Lyon comes in, getting some good turn to Keshav Maharaj, who plays off the back foot and pushes it to the offside. Playing on the back foot to Nathan Lyon is very dangerous.
Yep.
This one on off stump, huge stride from Keshav Maharaj. Well played there to the offside for no run. No run! Line it again. This one, Keshav Maharaj on the back foot, cutting and cuts well. And this one will run away for 4. As we said, Keshav Maharaj isn't going to die wondering. Will he be the one to target Nathan Lyon and try to get a boundary and over Nathan Lyon, of course, doing his job, getting Temba Bavuma already. So job done for him. He can go off, try to sneak one.
And 3 wickets in the first innings as well for Lyon. Of course, that was actually a really well-played shot. Practice of Maharaj creating space for the cut and beautifully played.
This one comes in again. Keshav going back and playing, defending the delivery back to the bowler for no run. 55 for 6. South Africa trail by 11. Line in again, past the umpire, wide of the crease. This time punches again to the offside, and there is a protection down there on the deep point boundary. There's a sweeper down there this time, plugging that gap, and they come through for a single. Kaya Zondo to face one more of this Nathan Lyon over. Lyon, Bossie's run up twice.
Zondo is not really ready at the other end.
Zondo steps across and plays this one to the leg side for no run.
Zondo heading the shivering thunderfall route of batting, just in terms of his setup at the crease. He's got a very open stance. He's not as open as Thunderpaw's was, but that left foot of his is probably facing wide of mid-on.
Yeah. But he takes he's very, very open stance for him, but it seems is it only against spin, because he seems a bit more side on against the quicks.
I think maybe with Lyon turning the ball so sharply as well, it might have something to do with that. The Richie Benno is Scotty Boland rousing welcome down on the boundary. On the cream-coloured jacket and silver-haired wig.
Oh, Richie Benno, we're going down to the Gamma. That was a poor impression. Ken, do you want to take this Mitchell Starc over?
Okay, sure. So, left-arm quick Mitchell Starc is back into the attack. So, comes first delivery of the Scotty Maharaj. Pulls the stuff, Maharaj! Driving the swings away late and through to the wicketkeeper. It was a fantastic delivery to start with by Mitchell Starc.
Oh!
And around the wicket. Full Maharaj, not much footwork, driving, and it's one away late.
Wow, that
Feed away late, rather.
Deviated a huge amount. Wow. If it didn't deviate, it would have hit off stump out the ground. Wow.
Stop. Then again to Maharaj. Goes a bit wider, shorter. Maharaj defending off the back foot and then just ignores the bat, probably after the ball when whizzing past the outside edge.
Mitchell Starc is coming. He's going to try to finish things up now for Australia.
Well, he's the type of guy who can run through a tail very quickly, Mitchell Starc, and certainly seems to be in great rhythm. I thought in the first innings he battled a bit in some of his stars, but really came good towards the end. As he comes again to Maharaj, very wide on the crease again. Paul Maharaj drives nicely. He's got it away through the covers. The two fielders are sitting out in chase, but they're not going to cut it off. So 4 runs to Maharaj takes them 12, and the total to 60%.
Keshav Maharaj showing that he can bat, and he can bat. Domestically, he scored. His domestic batting record isn't that bad recently. Has been scoring a couple of runs, a couple of 50s here and there.
And he's made some very valuable innings for the Posters as well. So,
yeah.
No mug with the bat, certainly a capable number 8. But, he faces up again to start. The closer to the top. Maran gets a big inside edge, prodding with the ball, and down it goes to 5 legs for another boundary. Maran moves on to 16, and the total to 64 for 6. And South Africa are now just 2 runs behind.
Didn't know too. Cut him in half. Didn't know too much about that.
Yeah, that one just kept coming in with the arm, whereas the other deliveries has been a bit of a way movement. Fantastic bowling by Stark. He took 3 for 41 in the first inning, so he comes again. Long stride win. Maharaj, who is poking outside off, comes to a foolish delivery, gets the edge, and still goes to wicketkeeper Alex Perry. So Stark has his man with some fantastic bowling. Maharaj caught behind for 16.
Oh, they need to check that back foot. I think he came from very wide. I think his back foot might have cut the popping crease or the return crease.
He has been getting very wide in the over, so it's probably worth a check. But again, a fantastic delivery that is angled in. A difficult length for Maharaj to play. He did come half forward, tried to defend, and the ball just steamed away to find the edge.
Oh, don't think this guy. We just got a message from our WhatsApp group. If anyone's available for tea, I don't think it's going to last much longer.
64 for 7. So effectively, South Africa are -2 with just 3 wickets in hand.
Absolutely disappointing performance from the Proteas. But the Gabinator strikes again after Australia haven't really performed their best here in Queensland recently, famously losing to India.
You know that that's their only loss at the ground since 1989, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their only since 1989. So, I would say their Gabba record is pretty superb. It's definitely their fortress in Australia.
As they call it, the Gabinator for a reason. Jeebus. Notice. Yeah, he's Rabada coming in now.
Start with 1 ball left in the over. He's got 2 for 14. He comes again going over the wicket to the left-handed Rabada, outside of front from Rabada. Just jobs on end of a very entertaining over. 2 boundaries in it, but also the wicket of Maharaj. South Africa are 64 for 7.
Just showing that replay, I think it's safe from cutting that return crease. Yeah, if you look at this tour, this is the first tour of Australia that South Africans are playing at Perth. Playing in Perth.
Well, usually South Africa plays Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, obviously. There's been a couple of games in Hobart, Adelaide. Since the return from isolation, South Africa has only played in Brisbane once in 2012, when it was an absolute run fest, very different to this one. Michael Clark got 259 not out, and Amran Kallis got 100. Nathan Lyons and to Zondo, well picked up, we just outside off some turning ends on the defence very solidly on the offside, no run.
Well, yeah, but that was playing on a traditional Australian pitch. This one, we saw yesterday, was the greenest pitch that a lot of the Australian commentators were also saying was the greenest pitch they've ever seen at the Gabba.
Zondo defends again, and the ball dribbles to short leg, no run.
Yeah, also the greenest. I think our batters got swerved here, playing for the greenest when the and got a bit mentally taken out of it.
Shorter from Nathan Lyon, and it's good bounce there, and Zondo handles it now 3 meters around the corner for a single. He'll go to 14, and the total 65 for 7. Lyon just making a few adjustments to field now for the left-handed Rabada. And Rabada just defends solidly the first delivery. He gets probably off to the back down the pitch.
I was saying yesterday we look at the trend. Only
Rabada defends this one to mid-on, no run.
Only 3 players in the South African first innings faced more than 20 deliveries, compared to Australia, where
Rabada works this delivery from Lyon, bowling around the wicket. Nicely fielded wicket for a single, so he's off the mark. And the end of the over, 66 for 7, South Africa. And the scores are level. So now their last 2 batsmen can go about building a match-winning total. As that is also going to be the tea break in Brisbane. Elise, would you like to take us through the scorecard? The tale of woes.
Oh, okay, depress me. We've got South African second innings. We had Dean Elgar, the first batter to go. He was out. LBW Cummings for 2, followed closely by Rassie van der Dussen, bowled by Mitch Stark, one coming straight through the gate like a thief in the night. He was out for a 4-ball duck. Sarel Evia then got caught from a ripper, off of a ripper from Cummings by Green for 3. Then a little bit of rebuilding work from Temba Bavuma and Kaya Zondo. Temba Bavuma is getting 29 of 61. Calvin Rain 29 of 61 before being adjudged LBW by Nathan Lyon. Ball that came back a long way. Kaya Zondo is not out on 14. Calvareda was the not next to go. He was caught off a beauty from Scotty Boland. And another 2 balls later, another beauty got Marco Janssen, just getting him bowled, beating the bat on the outside edge and clipping off stump. And then now the final wicket to fall was Keshaf Maharaj, caught Kerry Boldstar for 16 of 18. Just quickly, Ken, again, only 3 players in the South African first innings faced more than 20 deliveries. So far, only 3 players in the South African second innings have faced more than 20 deliveries. This has been a common theme compared to Australia, where everyone except for where the majority of the team faced more than 20 and stuck around and managed to get some runs.
Yeah,
Fantastic bowling though from this Australian team.
That speaks to the difficulties the Proteas batsmen are having at the moment. So all square going into the final session of the second day at Sadly South Africa just have 3 wickets left in the bank. We'll talk to you again after the break. Do join us.
Cheers, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Listening wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We're waiting for play to resume after tea in Brisbane at the Gabba. Scores level after South Africa's second attempt at, well, they're still there, 66 for 7. They managed to wipe out the deficit, but they lost 7 wickets in the process. So that wasn't too great there for South African fans, but at least we've avoided a terrible, adding our name to a terrible record list that Ken took us through, joined by Jenna and Mpendulo. Thank you so much, guys. Good to see you both again, and you'll take us through the next 40 minutes or so. If there's more than that, we'll probably have myself and Elise and Ken taking over. Kagiso Rabada and Kaya Zondo are at the wicket, and Sadiq Sumro on YouTube saying, if you are to struggle, why can't the Proteas struggle with young batters? So I'll leave you two to discuss that as we watch the players getting ready to play, and enjoy, guys, and let's see how far South Africa can take this match.
Good morning. Thank you, Otto. First 2 balls after tea, Stark into Kagiso Rabada, both missing the outside edge of the left-hander going through to the keeper. Score 66 for 7. Good morning, Mupesh.
Good morning, Jenna. How are you doing, man? Long time.
Yeah, it has been a while. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, but I won't lie. I could be better given if South Africa were performing just a touch better. You know, waking up in the morning, I'm still a little bit tired. I thought I'd be coming to watch a long day of cricket, but it seems like it might be cut very short with South Africa on 67 for 7. Man, just a bit tough.
Yeah, I definitely think it is going to be cut short. Kagiso Rabada facing Mitchell Stark, 3rd ball of the over, and it's just defended straight back past the bowler. They get through for 1, so Rabada off strike. Kaya Zondo on 14 of 63. He's looked really nice, really good so far. It's only his 3rd test. I might be mistaken, but I think that's what someone earlier on said. As Stark comes left arm around the wicket to Zondo. It's coming back into the right-hander as he just plays that with soft hands. Out to the field at gully, bounces 2 or 3 times before it gets there, but no run there.
He definitely has a reason to play properly. He has an opportunity. He has been called onto the squad so many times, but he hasn't been used. And now here's a chance. And he's on 14 after 64 balls in very difficult conditions. And he has been timing and working to keep his wicket preserved here, Jenna.
Yeah, definitely. He really has nothing to lose, and so he's just making sure he's batting long as he plays one out into the covers. They come through for a quick single. There's a shy at the bowler's end stumps, but doesn't make contact with the wickets, goes through just to the fielder who's backing up. So they get a single, 68 for 7, 1 ball left in this first over after tea. Yeah, what do you think about this comment here from Sadiq Sumro about having young batters? Even while we might as well struggle, we might as well have young up-and-coming players in the starting 11. Stark into Rabada. Last ball of the over, left arm over the wickets to the left-handed Rabada. This one pitching just back of a length, coming into the hip of Rabada as he works this out to a fine leg region. They go for a single. Brings us to the end of the 31st over, 69 for 7. Rabada on 3 of 8 and Kaya Zondo 15 of 65. South Africa leads by 3. You good? Okay, cool. I think Mpendulo has just frozen for a little bit. That's cool. While you sort out your technical issues, we'll just go through. So far this inning, 69 for 7. Bavuma and Zondo had a lovely partnership well, I would say up front because we were 5 runs for 3 wickets, so definitely up front. They had a nice little cameo partnership, but that ended quickly with the break in pace when Nathan Lyon came on. But we see pace back into the attack after tears. Pat Cummins goes to Kagiso Rabada, so in back of a length, and he defends it out for no run.
Yes, we'll just wait for Mpedulo.
Apologies there, Jenna.
Once you've got
Apologies
your
there,
stuff
listeners.
sorted out. Okay, yes, there we go.
Yep. Just had a little problem. Apologies, but we are back. Thank you, Jenna.
No worries. Cool. Cummings coming in for his second ball of his 10th over, past the umpire, right arm over to the left-hander Kagiso Rabada, who it's full just outside the off-stump. Rabada goes hard on the drive, but completely misses. Goes past his outside edge through to Alex Carey, the keeper, for no run.
And that ball, Jenna, an example of what the Australians have been doing in the second inning. They've adjusted their lengths brilliantly, bowling a lot more fuller, inviting the shots from the South Africans. And just there, almost claiming the wicket for Rabada as well. So they're keeping on their plans.
Yeah, definitely bowling to a plan. Almost an identical delivery. Kagiso Rabada tempted again, goes hard on the drive, but once again beaten on the outside edge. No run taken. Yeah, I think they have been really good. I think with the wicket at the moment, yesterday and today, it's very green, lots of grass. I do think that the Australian bowlers are using the wicket pitch to the best of their ability. You've got to get the ball up, and that's when the swing comes into play.
In a juicy track, it's very easy for the fast bowler to get carried away in terms of their lengths.
Yeah, that's also true. Oh, as he goes on the bouncer, this one, a very good, very well executed bouncer. Rabada sways out of the way, but shocked look on his face. Fourth ball of the over goes through. Lots of carry on this wicket too. Sure, that was very close
It's
to
all
the
of
head.
that moisture and all of that greenery making the ball zoot through. And you could see, hey man, it's coming here from Cummins. And not so long ago, these two were having a laugh over a chat. Now look at this.
Fast bowler to fast bowler. Oh, this one outside edge. Rabada, a middle-footed shot, just puts the bat out there, gets the outside edge, and a comfortable catch taken to the left of Alex Carey, almost taking it in front of first slip. A wonderful catch there for him. And that's the end of Kagiso Rabada. I do think you were correct, Pesh, that this won't last very long.
And it's unfortunate, but also that is testament to excellent bowling by Pat Cummins. The way he set up that entire wicket over the 5 balls was brilliant. Attacking, bowling full, inviting the drive, then going short, making him hesitant on that footwork, puts one at the back of a length, which drew the bat without him moving his feet, as you see now. And easy catch for Alex Carey. Would have been an easier one for David Warner, as you said, Jenna. Brilliant bowling from Pat Cummins, and that's why he's been number one for how long now?
Yeah, he is brilliant, leading his team here from the front. Yeah, I don't understand this pitch. I don't understand why it was prepared the way that it was, and I think Test cricket is often like under the magnifying glass because it does take long. In many countries, it's not a well-watched form of cricket. And then to prepare a pitch like this for the game, to obviously should have expected the game to go this way, to only last to probably not 3 days is disappointing.
And this pitch is a complete contrast to the pitch that people were complaining about in Pakistan, where the scoring was massive, but it justifies how long the game was compared to the 2-game match that we are watching here.
Yeah, it really doesn't bring in much revenue when it's only 2 days instead of 5. Oh, getting the outside edge once again. This time, Anrich Nokia, this ball was it was just on a good length and very defensive. Nokia outside edge, a comfortable catch by the man at Gully. And that's 9 wickets down for the South African team, only leading by 3 runs, 69 for 9. And really disappointing here, but excellent bowling by Pat Cummins.
Cummins is torturing the batters right now. But this is not their job. They've been put under the weather here and under the bus, the South African bowlers. Now they need to save the team after saving it with the ball, and the batters haven't done much justice to them. And Andrik Nokia falls for the first ball as Cummins is on fire to end the 32nd over. And can you believe it, Jenna? 32 overs. It's 9 wickets gone already. That's a wicket every 3 overs or so.
Yeah, brilliant bowling here, but Andrik Nokia just getting caught. Looked a bit surprised by the pace that Pat Cummins is bowling at. This one seeming a little bit into him, but he just jumped away from it, threw his bat out at it in a defensive kind of way, and a very comfortable catch, low down for the man at gully, but buckets for hands.
It's all that extra pace, that extra juice, that extra zip that comes with the grass. It's a very tough task to pull through for as a tail ender. And understanding what you need to do as a bowler is very important because you want to attack the tail enders, but you have to do it smartly. And Cummins showed a brilliant exhibit. And now we have Mitchell Starc in the opposite end, and there's absolutely no rest for the Proteas here.
Yeah, when you have such quality bowlers coming from you, one from the one end and the other from the other, it's just really is no rest. As Starc left arm around the wicket to the right-hander, Kaya Zondo. He just plays this out into the offside. Gets a quick single, which is interesting, putting South Africa's number 11, Lungi Ngidi, on strike. Getting off strike the first ball of the over as a top-order batter in this situation. What do you think about that?
I don't believe that was a tactically astute move from Zondo. Maybe in his head he also was like, I'm tired, bro. I want to get out of here. Yeah, dog. I am so sorry. But now he's thrown Ngidi under the bus for 5 balls against a fearsome Mitchell Starc. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can grab a single out of this situation as we have 3 slips and a gully. And the man under the helmet as well.
Very high pressure situation here. Starc, we know, world class, coming in left arm around the wicket, past the umpire into the right hander. It's back of a length, but really bouncing off the screen wicket. Comes just a chest height for Lungi Ngidi as he manages to squeeze out of the way. Ball goes through to the keeper. South Africa leads by 4, but Lungi Ngidi still has 4 balls to face in this over.
What a tough situation here for Ngidi. Starc, the quickest of them all, coming around the wickets, the ball targeting the body of Ngidi. He had no choice there. He had to play at it. Beautiful bowling from Starc with his long run.
He's in the third ball of the over. This one, it's full and straight, but well defended back to the bowler by Ngidi. He's a tall man, so he had to get his hands down nice and quickly there. It was quite straight, but doing well there. Capable, Lungi Ngidi with the bat. Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. Got his bat on the ground, and remember, Mitchell Starc is known for cleaning up the tail in white ball cricket. Mean Yorker, mean bouncer, and a smart IQ as well to set up the plays.
Definitely a very intelligent bowler as he's in this one full just outside the off stump and squeezed out. This will go down to third man, and Lungi Ngidi gets a boundary. He just placed the bat there. Got through the slip cordon, and that races away for 4. 74 for 9. 2 balls left in the over. South Africa leading by 8 runs.
For the block hole was Mitchell Starc there, just missing his length, giving a bounce, a small volley, and bam! Ngidi is able to get a boundary. They all count at this moment in time. The lead now slowly trickling up, if it even matters at this moment. It's at 8 runs with 1 more wicket remaining. Starc bowling that at nearly 140 kilometers an hour. So it's a tough ask here from Ngidi as well.
Yeah, it is tough, but he's faced 3 balls already. 2 to go for him. Obviously, if he could get off strike to put Zondo on for the last ball of the over. Australian bowlers really good at closing up their overs. The last 2 balls of their overs. really aggressive, really confident bowling. His stock is in to Lungi Ngidi. This one, a very good ball, just outside the off stump, and somehow missing bat and wicket, catching Alex Carey to the left of him. It was seaming in and just over that off stump. Ngidi kind of caught on the crease, but not getting anything on that.
You can't ask for anything better from Mitchell Starc with that ball. All it needed to do was just touch something, but it touched nothing. And the last ball for Ngidi, everyone in the Proteas army is hoping for him to survive this last ball.
Faith in the big South African bowler. Left arm around, this one full on leg stump, and he manages to get this around the corner. There is a little bit of a shout for LBW, but it seems like the umpire was having none of that. Alex Carey chasing that one down to the fine leg region. The South Africans get through for two.
There was no single.
Oh, no single. Sure.
They did not run at all.
Okay.
Zondo was aware of the situation this time.
Keeping strike. There we go.
That was 33 overs gone. And it was a tough one for Ngidi, but he was able to face 5 balls from Mitchell Starc. Baptism of fire, Zondo. Maybe he had the bet in the change room. They said, Yamondwana, if you get out there, we're going to make you a batsman today. They threw him under the fire. And now it will be Zondo facing Pat Cummins on the other side.
Pat Cummins has been really good so far today. He's got 4 wickets for 21 in his 10 allotted overs. Coming back into Zondo, who has managed quite well both against the seam and the spin from Nathan Lyon, bringing out the sweep against the spinner. But it is Pat Cummins' hat-trick ball, as he got 2 wickets of his last 2 balls of his previous over. This ball, back of a length on middle stump. Somehow Zondo manages to get this down to a fine leg region. Goes with a cross-bat shot, gets some bat on it, but doesn't go for the single he's learned from the previous over. So he keeps strike. 16. He's on 16 of 67. The score 74 for 9.
Wide open acres throughout the entire field. They have 4 slips waiting for that mistake from the batters. Pat Cummins didn't help himself with that previous delivery, completely outline of the stumps. Will he be able to fix it and get that last wicket?
Cummins in for the second ball of the over, and back of a length outside the off stump. Zondo kind of throws hands at it, guides it over that slip cordon. A very well-timed shot there. Goes for 4 to the third man region, 78 for 9, and his score goes up to 20 of 68.
Pat Cummins missing his lines, missing his lengths. Maybe not really. Tentatively played there by Zondo as it hits the top edge over the slip cordon. But the main thing is that he's still there, Jenna.
Yeah, I think as a batter, when that happens to me, I say well placed.
In this situation, especially facing bowling like this from Pat Cummins, nearly getting the edge in the next one, you have to tell yourself all the good things.
Yeah, got to stay positive as that one just missing the outside edge, as you said in pitch. Just going through to the keeper, but Cummins finding a good length and line there just outside the off stump. 3 balls left in the over, and Pat Cummins coming in. 3 slips, a gully, Alex Carey, the trusted hands. This one full on off stump and defended straight back to Pat Cummins by Kaya Zondo for no run.
It's good work here from Kaya Zondo. He's been very, very smart about his shot selection. He hasn't been playing rashly. He hasn't been chasing things that aren't there. And the ball is good, which has been almost every ball from the Australians so far, because they force them to play every single one. It has been good so far from Zondo. He needs to continue gritting it out here for the South Africans.
Cummins in 5th ball of the over. It's full outside the off stump, seaming in towards the right hander, finds the inside half of the bat. This will go out to a square leg region. The batters do not take a run. as Zondo will keep strike for the last ball of the over. Oh, they do take a single. Scoreboard's a little bit slow on the TV. They do go through for a single, 79 for 9, which will force Lungi Ngidi. He's on 4 or 5. Had a bit of, he got a boundary through the slip cordon in the previous over of Mitchell Starc. And he has one ball to face here from Pat Cummins.
And again, they bring in that fourth slip for Ngidi. They think that they might have something here, the Australians.
Past the umpire, right arm over, but it's full on the off stump and defended well by Ngidi. Goes out to a mid-on region. There is the fielder at short square leg under the helmet did chase that, but the South African batters not needing to take the single on this occasion, just so Zondo can maintain the strike.
It's good work. It's very good work now from the South Africans. Well played, actually, from Ngidi as well, as they play us the replays of all the wickets that have fallen, which is exhibiting Australia's magnificent bowling. But now Kaya Zondo really needs to show everything that he's about. If there was ever an opportunity, this is the one, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate because it's a very difficult one for him to face. The conditions are completely against him. Batting lineup is not giving him any favors, neither are the Australian bowlers, because they have been astute in what they are doing. So if there is a time for him to show what he's done, it's now.
Yeah, I totally agree. As Mitchell Starc, this one flew outside the off stump. Zondo taking a big swing at that one. Looked like he wanted to go over, but not making any contact with that ball. A nice big swing, but nothing from it.
Very good length from Starc. Maybe he'll want to target the stumps a bit more, or maybe Zondo will not want to play rash shots like that. But who knows what they're thinking at this moment in time as the score is 79 for 9.
I've really enjoyed Kaya Zondo's energy at the crease. He seems like a very calm batter, but the aggressive bowling from the Australian attack. As this one outside the off stump, it's placed into the covers. They're going through for the second run. There's a shot at the bowler's end stump, but it misses. Good backing up there by Pat Cummins. Good running by the South African batters, as Kaya Zondo knows he has to score runs, but at the same time he has to keep strike. So got to make sure that he's either hitting a boundary, scoring in even numbers. Lungi Ngidi is capable, but I do believe that Kaya Zondo should be taking the majority of the strike here.
He should play that inning of him as a batter in the tail end. Take 5 balls or 4 balls and then pass the strike over for the last 2 or the last ball.
Yeah, very capable. Oh, this one tries to go over. It's a little bit shorter. He tries to go over the leg side, but miss-hitting it quite a bit as it just falls into a vacant mid-wicket region. They don't go for the single as there's no space to take a double there.
We can see a clear idea actually here from Zondo. He's saying, you know what, it's the end of the game, let's just take it on. And the best way to defend yourself is to counter-attack as well. Better lose your wickets going for a big hoik in this situation than trying for a feathered defense.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one. 81 for 9, 1 wicket in hand. Mitchell Starc, 3 balls left in the over. It's full on leg stump, but squeezed out by Zondo. This will go out to square leg. They do go through for the single. Zondo on 23 of 74, which means Lungi Ngidi must face 2 balls from Mitchell Starc. He has survived 5 already, so 2 more, surely.
Should be the case, but Mitchell Starc was able to get that Yorker working in that last ball, and it was very well played by Zondo, as you had stated. But now, if he is able to get 2 more of those very same balls to Ngidi, it might be troubles. But as you say, Ngidi is capable of being preaching that message. So let's hope that message passes to him like a spirit bomb.
That is the hope. Starc left arm around to the tall South African bowler. It is that Yorker length delivery, once again, just missing that off stump. Ngidi with a little bit of a throw of hands at that, but missing everything for no run.
A textbook tail enders cover drive. When you're not the man with the bat, you miss the ball at all times. And thank goodness he missed that one, says a South African fan.
Yeah, true. One ball left in the over. He just has to stick it out here. There's quality Mitchell Stark, very aggressive bowling. He's got 2 for 25, last ball of his 10th over. South Africa leading by 16, left arm around the wicket, past the umpire, and misses the Yorker there as it's a bit of a full toss there to Lungini, but he plays it confidently to mid-off for no run. That's the end of the 35th over, 82 for 9.
Survival of the fittest. Ngidi is showing that he might be fit here. He might want to continue doing this for as long as he can, as Kaya Zondo is now on 24. Kaya Zondo looking to take the attack to the Australians. He's seen that enough is enough. Might as well entertain whomever's watching the game and not say that South Africa walked away not putting up a fight against the Australians in this match. Even though it is quite dire at 82 for 9, leading by 16. Patrick Cummins on 4 for 26, looking for that fiver, which will complete such a stunning bowling performance for him.
Yeah, definitely searching for that 5. Leading from the front and really just taking lead of this bowling attack. Right arm over the wicket to Kaya Zondo. It's short outside the off stump, but goes on the pull, takes this over to the leg side, to the square leg region. They decide not to go through for any runs. Kaya Zondo keeping the strike.
The Australians trying to now balance the attack and the defense. And they see now that Zondo wants to take that attack on, and they've opted to defend some of the boundaries where Kaya Zondo is more likely to attack. Hence Trevor's Head being able to keep that at the deep square leg.
Yeah, tactical. Cummins in. Oh, to Zondo. Oh, chopped on almost. Finding the bottom edge of Kaya Zondo's bat. Missing the stumps by I don't know how. We're seeing a slow motion replay now. It goes a bit on like a defensive square drive. Hits a bottom edge. Alex Carey diving to his left to try and get that, but unfortunately the ball just bobbling over him. It goes for 4 to a fine leg region, I suppose. But very lucky there for Kaya Zondo. Jeepers.
Minimal to no foot movement whatsoever. Standing very deep in that crease as well.
Oh, goes on the pull. This one just short of a length, but definitely interesting way of attacking that. Goes across the line and finds a boundary there. It's 4 runs to the mid-wicket boundary. Score 90 for 9, but Kaya Zondo looking nice and attacking here as he does go on a pull sort of shot, but the ball not rising very high, just over the stump height, but taking charge here.
I'm really loving what Kaya Zondo's doing here. It's brilliant taking the attack on to Patrick Cummins.
Cummins into Zondo, and this time he goes straight, and that'll race for another 4, the third of the over. A wonderful cricket shot there, just leaning onto the front foot. A little bit airborne initially as that just goes to that mid-off region, but a very well struck shot.
That is brilliant. This is tactical brilliance from Kaya Zondo, because the previous ball, he was deep in his crease and made a very good length ball look short, which he was able to pull away. Patrick Cummins now pulls it a bit fuller. Now he's standing in his natural position and he gets a gifted half volley. Absolutely brilliant. The best way to defend is to attack. And this is what Zondo is doing here for the South Africans. All of a sudden, they might look to get 100 runs.
Yeah, definitely. 6 short from 100. 2 balls left in the over. 3 fours from it. 12 runs. And Cummins in to Zondo. This time going for that big drive straight over the bowler, but missing completely. Going through to Alex Carey. There is a shout for caught behind, and they have sent it up for a review.
It all counts now, that ball. Remember, Patrick Cummins has that natural angle to shape the ball back into the right-hander, going for that big hoik. And they think they might have something inside the edge. And even if there's nothing, might as well go for it. It's the last wicket. How many do they still have both of their reviews?
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Might as well go for it.
Looks, as we're seeing the slow motion replay, does look like there's daylight between bat and ball on hotspot here. No contact with the bat. We'll wait for confirmation from the third umpire through to Snicko.
There's absolutely nothing. Clear line, daylight, as you said, Jenna. Umpire knew exactly what was the deal. Maybe an emotional shout from Patrick Cummins after being hit for 3 fours in a row. He has been outstanding, and all of a sudden, now the attack has been taken to him here from Zondo. He's on 36 from 80 balls, as the Australians now have 2 reviews remaining.
Yeah, very good delivery, good comeback delivery after the 12 runs of the 3 balls here from Pat Cummins. Yeah, I think the review, yes, emotional, but also tactical, letting Kai Zondo know that he's in the game, he wants the wicket, he's searching for the wicket, and he's gonna use all the reviews that he can as he's into Zondo. This one down the leg side, a bit of a waste of a delivery there, as it brings us to the end of the 36th over. The score 94 for 9. Kai Zondo on 36 of 81, starting to attack a little bit now, which is quite exciting. Lungi Ngidi, the big South African bowler, on 4 of 8, and he'll have to face the first ball of the new over.
And that is why that ball from Patrick Cummins was such a good ball.
True.
He understood what he needed to do, which was to make sure that Kaya Zondo does not get that one. Best way to do that is to make the ball evade the bat as much as possible, chucking it down the leg side. And there's no way Zondo could have scored that, which is why he gave that smile backwards. So it's brilliant test match cricket. This is what pro-level cricket is about, I suppose. Now Ngidi has to face an entire over of Mitchell Starc.
Yeah, very true. Perhaps he can get off strike here. 3 slips, a gully point, mid-on, mid-off, and a square leg. This one, a full on off stump, but defended by Ngidi to mid-off for no run.
Starc has found his rhythm. Remember when Ngidi was coming in, that was Mitchell Starc's first over of the spell. And now he's into the third over of the spell. He's getting those Yorkers working when he wants to. Remember, the 4 that Ngidi scored was off a misaligned Yorker, which was just a bit shorter than what he'd wanted to be. So now that first ball is a clear indication of what's to come in this over.
Yeah, definitely. Starc left arm around the wicket to the right-hander. This one full outside the off stump, and Ngidi goes with a big swing, gets bat on that, and goes out to the cover region. They'll take a single. Well played there by Ngidi to get off strike. So Kai Zondo has 4 balls in this over to show us a little bit more of what we saw against Pat Cummins. Very aggressive, exciting stuff.
If you miss, I hit. That was the message from Mitchell Starc. But the length was pleasing enough, and the best way to defend is to attack. And Ngidi did just that. Now, Zondo can be happy. He's on strike, has 4 balls to face, has pace with Mitchell Starc as a juicy track, can score runs given what he has been doing.
Yeah, very calm innings from him, and this a little bit of aggression now here at the back end. Starc goes down the leg side for a dot ball. Alex Carey reaching a little bit to his left side just to pick that one up. South Africa leads by 29 runs, 95 for 9. 3 balls left in this 37th over. Mitchell Starc, 2 wickets for 26 in his 11th. He runs in at the Gabba, left arm around Kai Zondo, defending. It's full on that off stump, and just defended back to Mitchell Starc for no run.
Level-headed here, Kaya Zondo. You've been preaching the message about how composed he's been, how calm he's been in the crease. Sometimes going for the attack, understandably so, given the situation. But now he sees that ball is not the one for me to go for. Remember, if you miss, I hit. So he still has that temperament about him to know when to attack and to know when to defend, even though it's very difficult for the South Africans.
Yeah, as you said, calm, composed, choosing which balls he wants to go after and which ones are not necessary. This left arm around the wicket could add a factor into that, whereas Cummins was coming, I would say, straight on, but he was getting a little bit of seam off the wicket as Stark, this time wide outside the off stump. Zondo goes for this one, throws hands at it, but missing it completely, going through to the keeper for no run.
Zondo has completely changed how the Australians are going against him. You saw before he went for those fours, he had 3 slips to deal with, a gully, there was open spaces, and now all of a sudden, the Australians have gone on the defense and looking to grab his wickets on the outfield rather than attacking the stumps.
Yeah, really interesting tactical as he's deep in the crease once again. We saw him do this to Cummins, and it's a bouncer from Mitchell Stark, ducking under it this time, Zondo. So it goes through for a single. That's the end of the 37th over, 95 for 9. Mitchell Stark just one from that over. Lungi Ngidi managing to get off strike on the second ball of that. But he'll be on strike for the next over. Mitchell Stark, off that bouncer, put a lot of effort into it after the ball just lost his footing and went on a bit of a tumble. That's the effort and the aggression that these fast bowlers have. Sure.
Definitely worth it. The smile from Mitchell Stark's face has also disappeared. You can see that the body language is now becoming a little bit more tense from the Australians now. They're really starting to dig for that wicket. And Patrick Cummins will be very happy here that he can now bowl to Lungi Ngidi, because I personally do believe he is more equipped to get this tail ender as a right-hander.
Yeah, it will be nice for him to get his fifer as this one back of a length. But Lungi Ngidi manages to defend that, standing quite upright. This pitch is getting some bounces. He just defends this out into the offside for no run.
Can South Africa roll out the Australians for 20 runs?
That is a good question.
They do have one of the best bowling attacks in the world. They do have a pitch that could work for them. Can they do it? Marnus Labuschagne, Steve Smith, Travis Head.
Seems like a long shot, but we can't lose hope as this ball flew outside the off stump and driven hard through the covers by Lungi Ngidi. And that trickles away for 4, leading by 33. Just over pitching there, Pat Cummins and Lungi Ngidi leaned into that really nicely and put it away through that vacant cover region. A little bit airborne, but nowhere near any fielder, so safe.
That's a very good shot. That's very brilliant. In this situation, have to take it on. Anything else, it's a very dire situation. So what he's doing here, Ngidi, is looking for those balls as well. If it's there, go for it. It's probably the message from Zondo on the other side.
Cummings in to Lungi Ngidi, this time on the bouncer. Ngidi falls out of this one, trying to evade the bounce from Pat Cummings. A smile from him between him and his partner, Kaya Zondo, on the other end. Just a little giggle about how funny he looked. He really did need to fall out of it. Should have dropped his hands a little bit more underneath that. But well done.
Funny enough, he actually raised them even higher. Thank you. The batter amongst us knows what she's talking about.
Oh, bounce again this time, finding a bit of an edge, and that's caught in the slips. I'm not sure who took that catch, but that's the end of South Africa. At one stage, it looked like South Africa was going to get to that 100 mark, but falling short. 99 all out in 37.4. But Pat Cummins, the pick of the bowlers, he got his fifer. brilliant delivery there, shoulder height, and just finding the shoulder of the bat. David Warner, the safe hands at first slip, taking that at chest height, and simple for the Australians.
Why is David Warner running away with Patrick Cummins' ball? But it doesn't matter.
Time to go back.
5 wickets taken. As we said, if he's anyone who might take that wicket, it would be him. And so he does with a very, very aggressive pair of deliveries. And as you were saying, if you're going to go down, always drop those hands, Jenna. Perfect example. The cricket gods were listening to what you were talking about. If he had dropped those hands and taken it onto the body or went down, but it's easy for me to say as I'm here and not facing a 140 delivery ball in a tight pressure situation.
Yeah, in the moment it happens so quickly, and you can practice as much as you want, but in a pressure situation like that, things often do fall apart.
Doesn't fall.
Yeah. So let's just go through a little bit of the scorecard from South Africa's batting innings. Sorrel Avia bowled Pat Cummins, caught Cameron Green, Dean Alga LBW Cummins, that was his second wicket, and then Rassie van der Dussen, a peach of a delivery through bat and pad. That delivery was unbelievable. He was out for a duck. A couple of ducks in the South African team. Carl Verena also with the duck. Marco Jansen as well as Anrich Nokia. But a wonderful partnership in the middle there by Themba Bavuma. He got 29 of 61 before he was caught out LBW by Nathan Lyon. And then Kagiso Rabada hung around for a little bit. He faced 13 balls. He scored 3. And then a good little cameo at the end by Lungi Ngidi, 9 of 14, but unfortunately bowled Cummins caught David Warner in the slips. But I think the man of the South African batting innings, Khaya Zondo, a composed innings, scored 36 of 85, very composed in the beginning with Themba Bavuma, but unfortunately the batting lineup didn't help him. And that brought the end of the South African innings. Just to go through a little bit of the bowling stats, Pat Cummins being the pick of the bowlers. He got 5 wickets for 42 in his 13 overs, or 12.4. Mitchell Stark aiding him there, 2 wickets for 26 runs in his 11. Scott Boland bowled really well, very consistent, 2 wickets for 14 in his 8, at an economy of 1.75. So that was really brilliant. And then Nathan Lyon, 1 wicket in his 6 overs, just for 17 runs. And he brought about that break when he broke up the Themba Bavuma Khaya Zondo partnership. So Paul Mutluwane was saying that that was going to break that partnership, and it really did. So just as much as the cricket gods were listening to me about Lungi Ngidi dropping his hands on that bouncer, they were listening to Mpo as well.
And that's the one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Jenna. We'll be back. This target has been set for the Australians. They only need 34 runs for the victory. What will happen? Do South Africa have some magic? Otto, I don't know.
I think Australia will win by 6 wickets. So let's see. Yes.
We'll be back.
Yes, let's see if we can. Yeah, if we can get some early wickets and just get rid of some of the top order to just take away some little bit of their confidence ahead of the next test match. We will be bringing you those post-lunch sessions as well. Monday the 26th of December. They're starting play a little bit earlier, 1:30 in the morning South African time. So we will be on air just around 4 o'clock, just after 4 o'clock in the morning South African time. That's GMT plus 2 hours. So the next test is going to be that little bit tougher, but hopefully most of us are on holiday then. So we'll see who we have available and if we have electricity supply. All of that stuff remains to be seen. Thank you so much, Mpendulo and Jenna. Love you guys on air. It sounded great. It was fun to listen to. And the cricket's not fun for us South African fans, but I do enjoy the commentary and listening to you guys. So thanks for that. Remember, you can support us, patreon.com/OneWorldSR. We are all doing this in our free time and for free, but we are trying to get the free bit out of the way so we can at least cover our costs and get to the stadiums and who knows, even pay for the broadcast rights, because we are the only radio station in South Africa that's carrying these matches. So we'd love to be able to become the official broadcaster. That's the goal. And we'll see. We've got Anis here for the chase, and probably we'll only need another stint. You guys, of course, are welcome to stay on as long as you want. I'll make way for whoever wants to stay on. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening. That's the best way you can support us. Tell all your friends. If you don't have a TV or access to the television, you can listen to us on onewsr.com as well. That's the audio only feed. You can check out the video or the audio there. So if you are driving around, you can connect your phone to your car audio and listen to the audio feed on onewsr.com. Who's staying on? Who's dropping off?
I'm going to drop off, but I hope
Okay,
that you
cool.
get lots of wickets.
Thank you, Jenna. Have a good
Have a good
Sunday further, and thank you once again. Hopefully,
Thanks, guys.
we will have. Well, hopefully we won't need the commentary again, because we'll bowl Australia out for 28. That's the most positive you can be at this point. But I think, like I said, I think Australia might win this one by 6 or 7 if we're lucky. Probably by 10 wickets if we're honest and realistic. But yeah, thanks so much.
The pitch is doing funny things, so.
Yes. It's turning. It turned for Lion, so it should be turning for Keshav as well.
Just like Jenna, I'll be leaving you. Otto, Anis, you guys may take over unless if
Cheers.
Also.
Thank you so much.
Otherwise,
Where's my? Here we go.
Keep it safe. Bye.
Hello.
Sure. How is it, Anis?
Good.
34.
We've seen stranger things.
Yes, that's true. It is a funny game. Cricket is, and so Khawaja and Warner are standing at the edge of the field. Let me just make sure that I am live here. Yes, I'm as live as I can be with my streaming. And who's that little man there, Anis?
That's my son, Zain.
Zain.
Yes.
How's it, Zain?
Zain? What is it? Hello. Nope.
Hello. All right, so let us know what you think. You can comment on our YouTube and Facebook feeds. You can even tweet us at Gorilla SA on Twitter, OneWorldSR as well, at OneWorldSR. Please make sure that you follow our channel, and welcome to all our new subscribers. We had a couple of dozen or so new subscribers during the past few days, so thank you so much for that. We passed the 2,000 mark. We're very proud of ourselves about that one. And make sure that you go and check out the Full Quota podcast, the Cheap Seats podcast, which is our football podcast. And then you'll be up to date with all the domestic cricket. Tim and Mpo really doing a great job for people like me who find it difficult to follow the domestic leagues, and especially the second division. They really take you through all the scores and the top performers so that you can actually have an informed opinion when you're talking about players that should be in the team and players that should be dropped and things like that. So do go and check out the Full Quota podcast with Tim Darlace and Mpo Mutwane. Rabada is going to open the bowling. And Anis, are you taking ball by ball? Three slips.
Yeah,
and
I'll take.
A wide-ish gully, and then a backward point quite far away, short square leg as well. Here we go.
This one in Kagiso Rabada steaming in. This one on Midland off gets his line right, bang on target. Usman Khawaja plays back to it and defends it down too short leg for no run. Sadiq Sumura on YouTube. I don't know if you guys read that comment.
We did, but we didn't really talk about it, so we can talk about that a little more.
Yeah, as Rabada in again. This one on a middle and offline to the left-hander, just continues leaving him beating off stump, and it goes through to the keeper for no run. If you're gonna struggle, why not struggle with young batters? And that makes a lot of sense. Kagiso Rabada in again this time, just above, bounces over off stump. Kuwaja leaves on length this time. And it goes through to Calverain for no run. However, I do understand the logic. If you're going to struggle with youngsters. However, the public is very unforgiving, and they will never see a rebuilding phase, losing matches constantly as a positive. So yeah, because the sponsors also won't, and the Proteas don't have a sponsor at the moment partly because of all the background drama as Kagiso Rabada runs in again. This one defended straight down the ground, but cleaned up by short leg as he comes in for the fifth ball of the over. This one, good line again, just in the off-stump channel to the left-hander, left alone. Kuwaja being very watchful. I prefer him to go for it. 34 runs, it's torture.
Yes, indeed. We might have a teasing little 10 or 15 over spell tomorrow morning to get through as well. So let's see what we end up with here.
Kagiso Rabada ends the over well. Just left on length again, bouncing over off stump, and there's no run there. David Warner to be facing Lungi Ngidi in the next over. Yeah, if you're going to do that, are wholesale changes the solution?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing now. Now you're throwing a whole bunch of players to the Lions, but I think that there's definitely space for a few people to come in, and as I mentioned earlier on air, I don't like this. People in the team that are sort of seem to have their places guaranteed, even though they go through 3-4 series without scoring decent runs. I mean, we talked about Rassie van der Dussen. Aiden Markram was left out of this tour because he was just not getting into form, but I think he stayed in the team maybe one series too long. And then we've seen in the past where people just occupy their place in the team, and it seems to be without any regard for their form, and that sends a bad message to the rest of the players in the domestic scene, I think.
As Nokia
first ball has been bowled,
Nokia came in that one. The first ball was outside off, dependent to the offside by David Warner for no run. This one is a lot straighter. Doesn't get up as much as would probably be the case on day one. He gets over this one, plays it straight to Kaya Zondo, who's lurking, waiting for one to lift off from Andrich Nokia, who is going to probably try to crank it up now as he comes in. Next ball, this one is pulled and pulled well. There is cover down there coming around from fine leg, and Kagiso Rabada cleans up, and there is Australia off the mark, 2 for no loss now, needing 32 more to win. There are names that are under 25 that have been performing very, very well domestically, but as I was saying to Ken and Gina, 7 games in a season is not enough to build a strong first-class system. As Nokia comes in again, outside off, and it just goes straight through to the keeper.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And I was listening to that conversation as well. So, Mpo and I talked about the SAA side touring and how few opportunities there are for guys to go overseas, to go and play against A sides in other countries, to experience the conditions, to prove that they can translate their domestic form into international cricket. Because, like so many other countries, we've got a big gap between our domestic scene and the international stuff.
I think the proliferation of that's a big one. The proliferation of T20s has also stunted the growth of first class cricket, because
Yeah.
T20 is where all the money is, and I've been
Yes.
saying for a while there should be a bridging division between first class cricket and Test cricket. So as Nokia comes in, wow, poor bouncer. This one down the leg side beats Calverain over his head, and that will be 4 byes. The Australian
Yeah.
saying
So
it's out. 6 4, they fix it now. 6 for no loss. So sort of like rugby as Super Rugby, or the Rainbow, the U with the
URC,
URC,
yeah,
something
and the
like that. But
Champions Cup, yeah, but it's difficult with the 4-day game, the red ball stuff to do that kind of
yeah,
thing. I mean, that's your A tour. That's what you're talking about, right? That's your A
correct.
team going away and touring, and I think it's really only Australia and England and
And
maybe
India.
India, although yeah, that have a strong enough red ball game domestically. We wait for Rabada.
I would. Their first class. So I believe that South Africa's first class system is stronger, as more than India's. I just think that they don't play enough, and
Yeah,
not
you
enough
mean in terms of
emphasis.
competitiveness, because India's
Yeah,
got like 30 teams, playing each other in
yeah,
the Ranji Trophy, right?
correct. So I think that, but like I said, they've got like 30 teams, so they're playing 29 games a season. So they're playing a lot more.
Yeah.
But you are also getting situations where you are getting complete mismatches in those 30 teams.
Mm. Yeah,
Where it's
we've seen some
strength
crazy
South Africa.
scores,
Yeah,
coming
but
through
it's
there. Yeah.
as Rabada comes in again. This one defended by Usman Khawaja. Just the previous ball lifted off a good length, caught Khawaja unawares, but just popped short of Kaya Zondo at short leg. Kagiso Rabada looking intense, but you can feel the energy is down as he comes in now for the 4th ball of the over. Past the umpire, that's a good length again. Khawaja trusting the pitch, missed the off stump by a hair's breadth. Another coat of varnish, and the bells would have gone flying. A wry smile from Usman Khawaja there.
Yeah, no, he's definitely confirming that this is a difficult wicket to bat on. Very good leave in the end, but that was so close to disturbing the off stump there for
As
Usman
a short
Khawaja.
ball from Kagiso Rabada, it's pulled into the wide open vacant land on the leg side over the ring. Khawaja is off the mark. Australia are 8 for no loss with 1 ball to come in the 3rd over. We're talking about the A-team tours. India sends their A-team a month before the senior team comes to play in whichever country they're going to. And so the players are aware of the conditions. The coaching staff comes over as well. As this is the last ball of the over, and it's cut. And Khawaja's gone, cut straight to Keshav Maharaj. Khawaja just took a step away, and tried to play the uppercut, but only managed to scoop it into the waiting hand of Keshav Maharaj. A fantastic delivery. from not actually a good ball from Kagiso Rabada. Usman Khawaja just trying to force the issue and giving his wicket away. He will be disappointed. Out for 2 of 12 deliveries. Australia 8 for 1. Is this the start of something?
Woohoo! Well, whatever it is, we're going to probably watch the rest of it. There's only 29 overs remaining in the day.
Usman Khawaja. Minus Labuskaghni on his way to the wicket now should be entertaining. David Warner also has to get as an axe to grind against South Africa.
Yeah, he should probably stay away from any abrasive substances, Mr. Warner.
Or plasters on his fingers.
But yes, I know what you mean. I just couldn't resist the references to Cape Town 2018.
Apparently, he's going to be fighting his ban from leadership positions. I'm like, you should retire.
Yes, I think it is very unfortunate what went down. Nortje continues.
As Nortje comes in, this one straight on a midland leg and worked away to the leg side where Warner and Labuskaghni managed to come through for a single, fielded at mid on to the left-hander, and the score moves on to 9 for 1. 25 more runs to get. Minus Labuskaghni about to face Nortje.
Okay, let's see what Anna can do here.
Go on, ramp it up to
I mean, that was a huge embarrassment to Australian cricket, and I can understand that, it is his way of making a living from Warner's side.
Look, it was
dot ball there from Nortje. Labuskaghni just defends that one down into the ground, no run there.
It was a weird comparison because when that happened, everyone was saying, but Hansie Cronje and stuff. I'm like, however, Hansie was paid to lose. He didn't cheat to win.
he was.
Yeah. Went to a fantastic line, giving him no width whatsoever, and having to defend, not even doing his usual exuberant no run, just taking it. Hannes Labuskaghni is all concentration now after falling cheaply in the first innings.
Yeah, we see some more replays of that catch by Keshav Maharaj and Usman Khawaja trying to attack. Just couldn't get on top of that ball to keep it down. And catch straight to Maharaj on his hips.
And a ripper from Nortje now, having Labuskaghni take evasive action. A fantastic delivery just outside off. Labuskaghni dropping his hands. And there's the glare. He gives him Nortje giving him the glare with the moustache. Oh! If only he had more runs to play with, this battle could last longer.
Yep. No, it's definitely.
Okay, and again, outside off stump, straight through to the keeper, left alone by Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this for the past 2-3 years now. Probably since after around 2018, after Faf du Plessis retired, and a few of the other senior players that were in the side before then. And really since then, we've struggled to find consistency in terms of scoring runs all over the world against all opposition. And our bowlers have been keeping us afloat. That's been the case now for a good long while.
This one from the last ball of the over from Nortje is short of a length, and it's quick. And only thing that Manus Labuskaghni can do is just defend it, and there is no run. That's the end of the over, and Australia on 9 for 1. we look at team selection, and sometimes there are a couple of head scratches, and you have to. I'd love to have some clarity as to what a guy needs to do in order to get a look in with the selections.
Yeah, that, and what do you need to do to keep your place?
Yeah.
I mean, that's also important. If you're not hitting the marks that you set, the targets that you set, then, and there has to be, as Rabada continues,
Comes in now a short, this time to David Warner, and he lets it go, keeping his hands down this time. And it goes through to the keeper. And Kagiso Rabada is bowling from the Stanley Street end.
yes, okay, we've got the ends at last.
The other side's called the vulture end. What does that tell you about this ground?
Yeah.
This one, Kagiso Rabada is on middle and off and defended by David Warner to the offside for no run.
Look, Stanley, of course, famous brand of box cutter knives here in South Africa, probably all over the world. Bring me the Stanley knife, you know.
Is Rabada in again? This one on middle and off. Yeah, listen, we use we often get our blades and stuff from Stanley for work as well. Also screws. What's a better word? We need a sponsor.
Come on, Stanley, if you're listening. We're promoting your street and your brand.
Oh, what a catch by Sardo Ilvia!
Oh, yes.
Sardo Ilvia in the slips, taking a blinder. David Warner again undone by Kagiso Rabada. How? I don't want to put the markers on them, but can we now call David Warner Kagiso Rabada's bunny?
Yes, I think we should. Diving to his right, Sarel Ervia, and he was standing at third slip and caught that just in front of second slip, diving to his right. That's a beautiful catch by Sarel Ervia. Going to his right, he's a left-handed batsman, so he might be right-handed. There's often people who bowl who bat left-handed are actually right-handed people, and took a good catch, just diving in front of Dean Algar there, the captain. And Ervia takes a brilliant catch to get rid of David Warner. He's caught Sarel Ervia bowled Kagiso Rabada for 3 of 11.
And the love-hate relationship between Bavuma continues. If he's not ignoring him, he's missing the high five and hitting him in the face. Oh, I'm loving it so much.
Yes, Kagiso Rabada gave a rather disinterested high five and smacked Themba Bavuma right in the face. You've got to be careful around Themba. Kagiso, please.
This one from Kagiso Rabada, Steve Smith is facing, and this one is outside off stump and left alone. Oh, the love-hate relationship between those two is amazing. First, he flags him, doesn't give him high five. Now he's hitting him in the face as he's in again. This one is scooped over the top of mid-off from Steve Smith, pitched up by KG, swinging away, scooped up over the top of the ring, and he gets a single. He gets 2. For his efforts, Australia move on to 11 for 2.
23 more runs to win. 8 wickets for South Africa to win. And there's 27 overs remaining in today's play. So that includes the next over. And that's according to Crick Info. We saw some overs being cut yesterday, but I doubt whether that will happen today. And they're showing another replay. He did almost get the high five right there, but missing Temba's right hand as he was completely looking in the opposite direction to where Temba was standing. So that was quite funny to see. And they're showing a replay of that now as Nortje continues.
And they took here outside off stump and left alone by Magnus Labuschagne for no run. Just looking how Kagiso Rabada set up David Warner in that previous over. The high bouncer, too short of a length ones that rose up chest high and then pitched one up, and David Warner was left fishing as Nokia comes in again. This one a Yorker left delivery on off stump, but it's well dug out and pushed, and it's going to run away for 4. Well played by Labuschagne. Fantastic delivery by Heinrich Nokia, and Australia move on to 15 for no loss. Oh, just a forward defensive beating everything else, but the pace of Heinrich Nokia allows it to run away for 4.
Luckily, Australia have lost 2 wickets, so there is a little bit of a pilot light in the distance of hope for South Africa. An LED indicating that the TV is plugged in at the end of the tunnel. That's about it for South Africa.
From Heinrich Nokia, Labuschagne rushed into the shot. He finds a leading edge, but drops safe of Kagiso Rabada at mid on for no run.
So Australia need less than 1 run and over to finish the game by the end of play today. If we get all the overs that have been made available, as I said, that's according to Crick Info. I'm not sure what happened yesterday, but that was that is the information that we have available. So we should
off yesterday, as you were saying. And this one from Heinrich Nokia on off stump, defended by Labuschagne for no run.
Yeah, so 19 to win for Australia. South Africa need 8 wickets. And they probably need to get those 8 wickets in the next 3 overs or so. Otherwise, they will lose this test match.
Yep.
So, really need some double wicket maidens here. Desperately needed for South Africa. 4 runs off the over so far. Nokia's third.
Nokia comes in and he cuts Labuschagne and finds the outside edge, but falls safe. To the outside, to the offside for no run. Intense bowling here from Heinrich Nokia.
1 ball to go in the 6th over.
I think they're going to keep it at bowling 4 overs each, but they just don't want to relieve the pressure. So the change-up bowlers, Lunging Didi and Marco Jansen, have to keep the pressure on as Nokia comes in for the final ball of his 3rd over, running it up. Making Magnus Labuschagne look in all sorts of bother. 147 for 5, having a chat, giving him the nod. Oh, this is fantastic bowling from Heinrich Nokia.
147 kph there from Nokia. I don't know what that is in miles per hour. Close to 90, around 90.
Yeah.
160 k's an hour would be 100 miles an hour, if that helps you figure that out, if you're a MPH kind of person. So just waiting for this next delivery.
Kagiso Rabada comes in. This one outside off stump and left alone.
Yeah, so I think I would agree with Mpo. I would have liked to see Marco Jansen open the bowling along with Kagiso Rabada, and I'd like to see Jansen now coming in sooner rather than later.
2 minutes quickly?
Yeah, sure. Did somebody jump over your wall, or is it delivery at the gate?
Yeah, my dog's very inside. Just have to check. Give me a second.
This one is driven by Steve Smith. Really good cover drive there, going to the boundary for 4 runs. He moves on to 6 or 4 deliveries. Labuschagne is there on 4 of 11. And the score now for Australia, 19-2. Nice square cover drive past. Backward point on the offside, beating backward point to his right. So in between point and backward point there for Steve Smith. Off the front foot, standing tall, getting on top of the bounce. Rabada's now conceded 8, bowling his 4th over. He comes in for the 3rd delivery. Wild swoosh by Steve Smith and he's out, caught behind. Caught by Kyle Verreynne. Got the edge. Rabada gets his 3rd wicket. Australia 19-3 in the 7th over. 3 balls to go in the 7th. They need 15 more runs to win and they've got 7 wickets in hand. Rabada getting Steve Smith out. This is a very faint edge as Steve Smith tried the uppercut there, tried to swing his hands at that flat batted shot, takes a feather of an edge through to Kyle Verreynne for a comfortable catch. That is the end of Steve Smith. Caught Verreynne, bowled Rabada for 6 or 5 deliveries. And this is really good as far as I'm concerned for the rest of the test match. If the South African bowlers can just get into the head a little bit of the Australian top order. The Australians were in big trouble in the first innings as well at one point before Travis Head and the name escapes me now, but they did have a 4th wicket partnership, if I remember correctly, yesterday that took them past South Africa's score and managing to get them to that 218 in their first innings. So just 15 runs to play with, and really Marco Jansen has to come in. That's the only hope that I can see for South Africa. Kagiso Rabada is doing the job. He's been going through some lean patches in the white ball game, but he's at his very best with the red ball in his hand and a lot of assistance from this wicket. Travis Head facing Rabada, left-handed, 3 slips, bouncer over the head of Kyle Verreynne. That's going to run away for 4. And the score for Australia now 23-3. They just need 11 runs. South Africa needs 7 wickets, so that's probably game over. Excuse me, no, that's 10 runs. Might have been given as a wide as well, because that was a very high bouncer over the head of the batter, over the head of Kyle Verreynne. We'll just check how the score was allocated there, and Rabada in again is burgled. Travis Head down the leg side, given out. It's another short pitch delivery going over leg stump. Travis Head fishing his hands at that one, clipped something, went through to Kyle Verreynne, and 4 wickets are down, 4 for 24. Man, oh man, 20, 30, 40 more runs could have been a difference here for South Africa. And right now, that just caught the bottom of Travis Head's bottom hand of his left hand as a left-hander, as he went to try and just steer that past Kyle Verreynne, just got a glove on it. It went through to the keeper, and Travis Head is out for a duck. 0 of 1 delivery. So 24-4 is the score. 2 balls to go in Rabada's 4th over, the 7th over of the match. And he needs 1 more for a fifer. And that is excellent Protea fire spirit shown here by Kagiso Rabada. He's not giving up. He's going to take those 6 wickets if you give him a chance. 6 more wickets needed by South Africa to pull off a miracle victory, but only 10 runs to play with. So we see the confirmation there on Snicko, the ball clipping the glove of Travis Head through to Kyle Verreynne for the catch. 2 wickets in the over so far. It was 4 wides by Kagiso Rabada, so that's 9 runs conceded in this over so far, but 2 wickets taken. 2 more balls to go in the 7th over. Rabada into Cameron Green. Meanwhile, he's come to the wicket. He defends this one outside off stump. It's cleaned up at gully. No run. He survives his first delivery.
Sorry about that. Garden service arrived without any warning.
There you go. Your dogs are doing their job. So.
Yes. For four, I missed 2 wickets.
You missed 2 wickets, my friend. So tell your guardian service to drive around the block and come back. Rabada into Cameron Green, who defends this one out to short square leg for no run. End of the 7th over. Australia 24 for 4. And 10 more runs to get for Australia. 6 more wickets for South Africa to get. So my prediction of the win by 6 or 7 wickets is still on for Australia. But I would love to see the South Africans putting some more doubts into Australian batsmen's minds with maybe 2 more wickets before the 10 runs get scored. The 10 runs will be scored. I mean, that's a given.
Yeah.
We know that. Let's just see how far they can go. How far can they take this? How deep can they get into the batting lineup? As Nortje will continue, that's no good. And it's a bouncer over the head of Calverena. It's going to be 5 more wides, and that means that Australia need only 5 more runs to win. They go to 29 for 4 after 7 overs. That first ball won't count. And Marco Jansen really should have gotten a chance here, really.
Yeah.
He's been a lot more dangerous as a wicket-taking option than Nortje. And Nortje having a chat there to Marnus Labuschagne, who was on strike for that one.
Probably in Afrikaans.
Yes. Most definitely in Afrikaans. And Nortje in again over the wicket, outside off stump, great delivery through to the keeper for no run. Marnus Labuschagne playing a defensive shot, and the ball missing everything except the keeper this time, thankfully for South Africa.
Calverain seems to have hurt his thumb.
That struck him on the thumb and bobbled out in front of him. Yes?
Instead of having to chase 34, if they had to chase 150.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's all on the batsman. Nortje into Labuschagne, attacking this off-stump line. Better ball. Defended by Labuschagne, no run. Calverena seems to be okay now. You see a replay here, the ball coming towards him and just misjudging it with his fingers pointing upwards, and got struck on his right thumb.
And if
seems to be all right.
We won't lip read what Calverain said. The language was very colourful.
Labuschagne leaving this one outside off stump through to the keeper for no run. 29 for 4. Australia need 5. South Africa needs 6 wickets. 3 balls to go in Nortje's 4th over, the 8th over of the match. And now you can't replace Rabada.
Nope.
Nortje shouldn't be bowling this over. I would have really loved to see Marco Jansen bowling this over. The game will probably end in the next 10 or 12 deliveries. Within the next 10 or 12 deliveries, either way. 4 slips now in for Nortje, attacking off stump, and that's a straight drive or straight defensive shot by Marnus Labuschagne. The cannons into the stumps at the non-striker's end, and Green is back into his crease. There's no chance there of a run out. 2 balls to go in the 8th over. Let's see if Nortje actually got a hand to this.
He did.
I think he just got some fingertips to it, but Green had his bat down inside the crease. So he's all good to go. Good to stay, I should say.
Good bowling practice for the South African quicks. Not like they need more practice. I think the batters
practicing their death bowling. Yeah. So 29 runs on the board for Australia, 4 wickets down. Labuschagne on 4 or 15, facing Nortje, defends this one into the ground, out to the offside. They take a single, and Green will face the final delivery of the 8th over. Nortje conceding 6 runs in the over so far.
First, the batters let the Proteas down again. It's becoming a trend, and it's very, very disappointing as a Proteas fan.
It's the batters. It's the batters that that's let us down once again. I thought this morning that it looked like maybe the conditions started to become easier to bat on, but it seems that pitch is still has a lot to offer.
No,
Three slip to
man.
gully and a leg slip. Heinrich Nortje over the wicket, and he bounces this one over the head of Carl Verreynne, hands the victory to Australia. And that is the end of the test match, the first test match in Brisbane. And Australia win by 6 wickets. Yeah, not a lot to say apart from everything we've discussed so far. So let's take you through the scorecard quickly here. We've got Usman Khawaja and David Warner who opened the bowling, and it was Usman Khawaja caught by Keshav Maharaj off the bowling of Rabada for 2 of 12 with the score on 8. He was the first to go in the third over. And David Warner was caught Sarel Ervie at third slip, bowled by Kagiso Rabada for 3 of 11 with the score on 9. Then Kagiso Rabada struck by removing Steve Smith, caught by Kyle Verreynne for 6 of 5 with the score on 19. And the final wicket to go was Travis Head with the golden duck, caught by Kyle Verreynne off the bowling of Kagiso Rabada, taking all 4 wickets, Kagiso, in 4 overs and conceding 13 runs. From the other end, Heinrich Nortje bowling 3 overs, conceding 18 runs with no wickets, and Marnus Labuschagne ending on 5 not out of 16, along with Cameron Green not out on 0 of 2 balls. Australia win by 6 wickets, 1-0 up in the 3-match test series. The next match will see us going to Melbourne, to the MCG on the 26th of December. And the first ball will be bowled at 1:30 in the morning, South African time. So we will be with you from about 4:10 in the morning, South African time, on Monday, 26th of December. We're going to ignore the pre-lunch and session and lunch. In fact, if we don't have people available, we might ignore the post-lunch session up to tea as well. We'll see who is available and what our electricity supply situation will look like by then. In the meantime, thank you so much, everybody, for your support, for your comments coming through. We do appreciate you listening to us. It's the best way to support us, and we say thank you for that. Any final thoughts from you, Anis?
There are too many at the moment. They need to unpack everything. Hopefully South Africa can find a way to fight back and find the batsmen to find a proper game plan against this very good Australian attack. We'll see you on Boxing Day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.